right now. So
beautiful.
All right, so I guess first of all, I just wanted to kind of say thank you to everybody for joining us. I'm here with my co-host, Sean McCoy, and this is something that, well, I guess I should say I'm Joshua Carlton, for those that don't know me, a tattooist for 28 years. I'll kind of tell my story a little bit later on why I'm doing a podcast that's a little more related to health. But honestly, it's not going to be just health. It's going to be, we like to talk conspiracy. We like to talk, we love Joe Rogan. We like to talk about all kinds of stuff. So today is going to focus a little bit on kind of why we're doing this podcast and how we met and some interesting stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and first introduce you to my partner, Sean McCoy.
Hello.
I think has it been 5 or 6 years since I've known you?
6 years. Excuse me. It was almost 6 years exactly, because it was May.
Oh, you remember the month? Wow.
Yeah, May of 2012 when one of my very good friends and like a father figure of mine passed away, who was like my spiritual guru, you could say. And that's why I decided to get a burning monk, was he had brought this Tibetan philosophy. I mean, I don't want to just dive into the deep shit right away, but that's why I know.
Yeah, I actually never knew that. I never knew really like how did you hear about my work or?
Well, it was from our mutual buddy, Zach, who I met at the gym, who knew that I had a couple tattoos at the time. I only had, a handful of tattoos, and he showed me the most amazing, realistic tattoo I'd ever seen up until that point in person.
Nice.
Which was the piece that you were starting on his side.
Nice.
Blew my fucking mind, man.
It's one of my favorite things about tattooing is like the money's cool, but I love doing tattoos that people that hate tattoos will be like, God damn, that's fucking art. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I love that. Like, I love like little old ladies that are like, I thought tattoos had to look like this. So I've always kind of set out to do that. And for those of you that do follow me, you'll probably recognize both who we're talking about, Zach and Sean's actual tattoo work. Zach is the guy that I'm doing the full skull. His like entire back is a skull. He sits like a bitch, by the way. That guy's a tough motherfucker. But I mean, he got his ribs tattooed,
damn,
and it's
Zach,
nothing.
You just got burned, bro. But I mean, we're gonna keep it real on the podcast.
This is a no bullshit podcast.
Yeah,
I love you, Zach. But yeah. And Sean, he's got he's the one that's got the one of my favorite tattoos I've ever done, the Tesla portrait. And you've recently seen the new baby monkey. He's got a bunch of stuff on his torso. We're kind of waiting on sharing a lot of that till it's done. You've probably seen a few progress pictures, but just to give you an idea of who the co-host is. So, but yeah, I remember you coming in. I'd always liked that picture. It's the burning monk on the, I think it's on the Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, Rage used it for their first album.
Right. And see, that blew my mind that was fucking real. Like, somebody did that.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole podcast is kind of about, pushing through and making yourself work your hardest. But motherfucker, this guy lit himself on fire. He believed in what he believed in so strong. If that doesn't tell you what can be done with human potential, I don't know what does.
Well said. I mean, the symbolism of what he did and what that photographer was able to capture in that photo, that image. I mean, it won the Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, sure.
In the 70s, well, that year in the 70s when it was taken. And the story behind it is that he was rebelling. Well, it was a political statement against the regime in charge, which was persecuting the monks and it was a Catholic regime at the time.
Okay.
And there was a lot of other stuff going on behind it, but that was his statement, was to sit there, meditate, and have himself lit on fire.
God, this is
and
so
just
crazy.
Transition into a different energy plane because
he wasn't even there. You know what I mean? It was just
he was ready
shell.
to go, man.
Yeah. Man, that's unbelievable. So
sorry, but that image definitely did awaken something in my mind, as other people too, and I love that album. I was a teenager when that came out.
Yeah, it's one of those undeniable, like, it doesn't really even matter if you like Rage, that album, you just can't deny it,
It's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. So, for me, when you came in with that, I had seen attempts at tattooing it by people who, they were pretty good, but it's like, I'm always interested in how much further I can push something, you know what I mean? So when you brought it in, I was pretty excited about it. I think it's kind of cool. I'll have to make sure you look at some pictures on my Instagram. We ended up not just doing it exactly as is, But as I got to know Sean and some of his enlightening views, we very rare for me, but we added kind of a I'm trying to think of what you would even
sacred
call it.
Geometry.
Yeah, some sacred geometry.
It's the flower of life.
I don't do that. You know what I mean? And it's like I do that for Sean.
Well, you were inspired by it.
Yeah, I think it was my idea even. I was like, hey, we should, and it's really colorful and it's very, very different for me. But to me, it just separates it from anybody else's version of that tattoo. You know what I'm saying? So,
which that took like 4.5 years for that.
The whole concept
to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I did a couple of sessions. It's pretty big. And then
12 sessions is a couple.
Yeah,
that's a couple.
I got insanely busy, which Sean reminded me of recently, and could only get him in like once a year. So there was a period of time that I didn't see you a whole lot. You know what I mean? But then you came in pretty regularly, like really started coming in pretty regularly. And for me, from what I noticed is I don't like anybody. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I like talking to this guy. You know what I mean? Like whenever, most of you know I've got some pretty high anxiety, which I kind of don't anymore. And we'll talk about that in a minute because I'm fucking healthy now. But
Word.
Right. But, I don't like to know who my clients are until like 2 days prior because I'll kind of dwell on it. So I don't know if you knew that about me, but if it's just some bitch I don't like, I'm like, fuck, I got to deal with this.
Oh yeah,
bitch,
dude, you don't want to dread.
But I always noticed that I was like, who am I tattooing tomorrow to my wife? And she'd be like, oh, Sean McCoy. And I'd be like, oh, fuck, that means a good ass conversation. You know what I mean? So no stress, get to do some badass work. So I just kind of noticed when, as you came in, not to get cheesy about it, but like I clicked with you, man. You know what I mean?
Well,
I always felt like, and we'd start talking about some kind of deep, crazy shit that like, I would be like, man, I'm going to say this and he's going to think I'm fucking weird. And you'd be like, man, I'm on that shit too. Like, fuck, I know all about Tom DeLonge. I know all about that shit. You know what I mean? So we're not going to get too deep right now, but I just wanted to say that I thought that was funny. I'd go home and I'd tell Nikki, I'd be like, man, I'm tattooing this guy. And like, he's kind of a genius. I don't know if he knows it. You know what I mean? This guy's on some shit. You know what I mean? So even then, I kind of knew something like this would be happening someday. You know what I mean? I felt like, man, every time you came in, every time it was usually thanks for the conversation. You know what I mean? So what a better way, right, to celebrate some of the weird shit we've talked about and just kind of share it with everybody else. Because you know what? If we think like this, there's some other people out there that are tired of having the wool pulled over their eyes and are ready to see some real fucking world shit, some no bullshit.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, that is about the biggest fucking ego stroke that I think I've ever gotten that I can remember.
It'll be the last
At
time.
least the most meaningful. At least the most meaningful, because I do like and respect you so much as a person, as an artist. I mean, I've told you recently, you're my favorite living artist. Bob Ross is my dude because he's my meditative fucking man at night. I get stony out of my mind, and then I sit there and I watch Bob Ross before I go to bed.
Yeah, if you guys don't, I know everybody knows Bob Ross, but I don't know if many of you realize how soothing this man's voice is. You know what I mean? So like, Sean is on something, like put him on at night. You're stressed out. Not to interrupt you, man, but seriously, just like, Bob Ross is always going to be.
Let your kids watch him.
Absolutely.
Man, I mean, he's not just late at night. Yeah. I mean, I just do it late at night because I'll take a nap in the middle of the fucking day if I watch it, because he's that zen. He is the zen master of creating shit right now. Yeah. Oh, we got 30 seconds for a freaking episode. Well, let me just bust out a whole world on this palette. It's
always like, I'm already super impressed within a few minutes, and then it's just like, oh fuck, no, he didn't just put a stream right there.
You know what blows my mind is his mixing of colors, man.
Oh yeah.
He seamlessly, I'm just going to make a color right here out of these colors, and then pow, it's the most perfect shade for what he's trying to do.
And paints with like a palette knife, and as a painter myself, that's some hard shit.
It's beyond inspiring. It's awesome.
It's another example of this type of podcast of, I just don't know if people realize the human potential. I've always called it that. Sometimes it's like if you do something that you don't realize you can do, once you realize it, now it's on. You know what I mean? Now it's time to do this shit all the time. Because your dad told you couldn't do it, or because your friends told you. I've had a lot of crazy ideas. I started a band years ago and just told all of my bandmates, I'm going to tour with my favorite band. And everybody was like, you're fucking crazy. Guess what? It happened fucking twice. You know what I mean? I never doubted it for a second because that's just how I've always been. I was born with a motor. Yeah. I feel like you were born with a motor, and that's one of the reasons that we are here today.
You're on that next level, man. I mean, but you inspire the fuck out of so many people. And we click because going back to the whole podcast, the origins of this episode and hopefully future episodes is we were both into Joe Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, that's where we kind of were both like, hey.
When we first had our first session, it wasn't when we first met, because when we first met, I had to come by your studio on, what was it, Oak?
Yep.
It was like 14th and Oak. This house, you had like the top level of this house. Right when you got moved here, it's called Crimson Torch. I didn't even know where the fuck this was.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it's not as hidden. My studio now is like completely hidden. We're in my tattoo studio.
Yeah, you really don't know where the fuck this spot is.
Right.
But that spot, you know, I had never been there before, never even paid attention.
Right.
So that was my first thing there, and I was just one of those dudes who was like, oh, you know, I heard you do Amazing Ink. I'm here to do, because I didn't have your phone number because you were from out of town. And the guy Zach, our mutual friend, who showed me that amazing piece on his ribs that inspired me to stop by, was kind of even hesitant. He was like, yeah, you know, he's a hard guy to get a hold of. And I'm like, well, fuck, I mean, doesn't he want to make money and shit?
Yeah, that gets to some people because, you know, in a world that we live in, everybody's a car salesman basically, and I'm not trying to push my work. Like, I'm very fortunate to be booked. I earned it, you know what I mean? But it does throw people off when they're like, hey bro, I got $1,000. And I'm like, yeah, you'd give me $1,000 anyway. Like, you're not trying to be a dick, but like, you know. So I like to tattoo what I like to tattoo, only because it's going to give the best tattoo. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I have no problem if you come in and you're like, I want this Japanese sleeve. I'm going to be like, you know what? I could do a pretty good job, but I'm going to send you down to this guy. You should get it on a plane because this is forever. This guy is going to kill it with Japanese.
Oh, man.
You know, I have no... Well, yeah, exactly. Jeff Gogwe, one of the best tattooers in the world. Great guy. Why would I... You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do my best version of it. You know, I've always felt strong, the whole jack of all trades thing. Like, I would definitely like to be really, really good at one or two things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be...
I'd say you've accomplished that.
I feel like it's going well. You know what I mean?
Like, you can multiply that a
like
couple times. Yeah.
So, you know, for me, like, you know, and kind of leading into this whole story of today, I'm a pusher. I push myself. I push those around me. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell kind of what's going on with me.
Yeah.
So if you do follow me, you probably know that maybe a month and a half ago, very recently, I went to the emergency room because I've been having these dizzy spells. And I've been feeling like shit for years. And honestly, I thought it was because I was fucking in my 40s. I'm 43. Sean fully knows. He'd come in for a session and I'd be like, man, I'm gonna tattoo you for 2 hours today. I'm not feeling the greatest. It kind of just it had just become my life. I thought it was because I was my age. I've always been overweight, but not like this, never been like the fat guy at the party, but it definitely was, clearly was overweight. You know, I'll see pictures of me.
Well, you got charisma, bro.
So yeah. So I started having these dizzy spells, right? Like, amongst the other things, being tired all the time. And I go into the emergency room and my blood pressure's through the roof, which fucking just scares the shit out of me. And they're like, we're going to test you for stroke, which my father had. We're going to test you for heart attack. These are my biggest fears. So I'm sitting in the hospital room and I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? And they come in and they're like, well, good news. You didn't have a stroke. You didn't have a heart attack, but you also forgot to tell us you were diabetic. And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, unless you drank an entire case of Coke before you came in, you're extremely diabetic. Type 2. Again, my father had type 2 diabetes as well and died with it. So immediately I'm just like, you know, not to put down anybody that's been diagnosed with cancer, but honestly, like, it felt like that. It felt like a death sentence. Like, you know, for those of you that don't know a lot about it, diabetes can destroy you. Your retina will become detached. Your feet will rot and you have to have your feet cut off, or even your legs below the knees amputated. I have to stop getting my legs tattooed because they won't heal properly. All of these things. So this was one of those aha moments in my life where I was terrified, and then I just had this crystal clarity moment of, I study the shit out of anything I do. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to goddamn do it my fucking best. So I'm like, I'm going to figure out this shit. Diabetes, okay, let's look into it. And all of a sudden, I'm reading all these articles that it's totally a diet-related issue. And it even has these diagrams of, this is what you look like if you're type 2 diabetic, and it fucking looked like my gross-ass belly. So I was like, well, shit, you know what I mean? So there's something called an A1C, which is basically the level of diabetes that you have. It goes from, I think it starts at 1, but it goes all the way up to like 13. 5 is like healthy non-diabetic. 6 is pre-diabetes, and then anything up from there. I was 10.1. The nurse told me I was committing slow suicide. So I just poured everything into it. I took a break from tattooing, and I started finding out that it was diet related and that you could actually reverse it. Now, here's the crazy thing. This is sort of new information. So when I went to my dietitian, she won all of the stuff that I had studied and learned. She 100% was like, nope, it's not reversible. It's a chronic and ongoing disease. You're eventually going to have to take insulin. I'm on metformin right now, which is the number one prescribed diabetes medication. And I guess it's supposed to give you explosive diarrhea, but thank God that didn't happen to me.
Yeah, thank God.
I know, right? But anyway, so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I know she's a doctor, but they have this old ass shit they learn. You know what I mean? They have, because I had to fight with myself with that. Like, am I really going to sit here and think I know more than this doctor? But I didn't learn this from YouTube. I didn't learn this from one book. I learned it from multiple books written by doctors that go to much better medical schools than this doctor.
And shit changes.
Exactly. So I discovered, luckily, Dr. Jason Fung, F-U-N-G. He's written a book that it's called The Diabetic Code. He also wrote a book called The Obesity Code. And it literally basically breaks down, without getting really boring, what's going on with most diseases. And it's mostly caused from metabolic syndrome, which is too much insulin, which comes from sugar. A lot of people don't realize it. Bread, nothing but sugar. So this whole low-carb diet craze, the reason people are so excited about it is because it's working. When you cut that shit out of your diet, it's sugar mainly. It doesn't produce so much insulin. Therefore, you don't get the metabolic syndrome. It's mostly inflammation that we have that makes us a lot of diseases, including cancer. And then, and we'll talk about this later, but also good news, a lot of this stuff is also cured with, guess what? Motherfucking marijuana. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
And I will say that when I met you, you talked a lot about it, and I definitely listened to you and stuff, but a lot of times it's like, yeah, the guy that loves marijuana always wants marijuana to fix everything. It's true.
It is
It's
true.
absolutely fucking true. It's not some conspiracy. It's not some, you know what I mean? And, without getting into it, like, it is the big pharmacy. Of course they want to keep these things from you. I have an apprentice who's had cancer, and he told me, from knowing from him how much it costs to keep him medicated over than curing. You know what I mean? It's so obvious. We can get into that later. But anyway.
Oh, we will.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, long story short, I have since lost just under 30 pounds in a month and 15 days. I absolutely fucking love. It's not about being skinny. It's about being healthy. You know what I mean? I get up and run every day. I ran, I think, 4 miles this morning before the podcast. I will not tattoo without running first because I feel like a fucking laser, and I'm able to type my blood sugar into this app I have every morning. And now I have to have a doctor tell me, but so as for right now, my A1C, which was at 10.1 and suicide, is now at 5, which is not even pre-diabetic, straight up not diabetic. So again, doctor has to tell me, but with all things that I can see, I have already reversed my type 2 diabetes. Now, if it's in my blood and it's something that's in my family and I can't beat it and I just have it, well, guess what? I'll be the fucking healthiest diabetic there is, because this isn't going to stop me.
Well said.
You know what I'm saying?
Well said.
So, yeah, with that said, like, that information opened my eyes to how many things we don't know. And I just think that everybody out there listening, you should research shit. You should research shit yourself and be aware of where these articles you're reading are coming from. You know what I mean? Be aware. If you watch a documentary and it tells you that all this is bad, who's paying for this documentary? You know what I mean? Where is this all coming from? So research, but research intelligently. Just because somebody says something on YouTube doesn't mean it's true. Just because what I'm saying doesn't mean it's true. I'm sure I'm going to say some shit today that in a couple of years we'll look back on and be like, yeah, I got that wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty, though, is being able to admit when you're wrong.
Right.
Unlike these people who pay ungodly amounts for education that is obsolete in like a couple years.
How many people, I know a ton because of tattooing for so long, that go to college for these years and years, and then they just kind of like do something else. You know what I mean? They're like, all this time, and it's like, you know what? You got to just find your own way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I do have 2 doctors in my family.
Yeah.
So my brother's woman, partner, wife, amazing lady. She just graduated the Oregon Naturopath Medical School last year, and she got hired 2 weeks ago for her first gig, and she's killing it. I mean, already transcending, what was going on there without her. And because she's amazing. I mean, she is a proper genius. This lady took 28 credits per term, and full time is 12 credits.
Wow.
So she over doubled full time through medical school.
See, that's so attractive to me. You know what I mean?
It's I mean, it's a little intimidating to me.
Yeah.
But and incredibly overwhelming, obviously. But yeah, she's a genius and awesome and beautiful and intelligent in her all sorts of ways. And then my best friend / brother that I grew up with across the street, but I consider him a brother, lives in Hawaii. Him and his wife are both pharmacists.
Wow.
And so together they've got like 16 years worth of medical school, school altogether.
Yeah, so that's somebody that if they give you advice,
I'm not listening to him.
Right.
I'm kind of like the one trying to give him advice, honestly, because I'm the one paying attention to the cutting edge treatments, to the alternative, treatments, medications, and ways to get rid of all sorts of bullshit ailments, like everything that's created from inflammation, everything that's caused by the sugar epidemic that we have going on.
Yeah, the Western diet, we're just not meant to eat this way. You know what I mean? And I never even thought about it. And you've been healthy ever since that I've ever met you. So I don't know, and I don't want to go too much into your story, but you've told me that you've had some issues in the past. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, let's go into it completely. You can ask me whatever you want.
So what surprised me is, so Sean is you don't even look like you have much like any body fat. Like you look like an athlete. You know what I mean? So, but it wasn't. What surprised me is after tattooing him for years, one day he's like, "Oh, bro, I had liposuction. I didn't always look like this," which honestly was inspiring because kind of sometimes I would feel like no matter what I do, some people just look different. You know what I mean? Like, so it was interesting to hear. You know what I mean? That you actually were unhappy with your body, with your health, and you took care of it. You know what I mean? You fucking got on it. And it seems to be something that we talk about even before I realized how unhealthy I was. We always talked about health. You always bugged me to get healthy, even back then. It's
that fine line. I didn't want to. I hoped to inspire, but I didn't want to bug.
I just unfortunately wasn't ready.
That's when somebody's not ready. Yeah. Then you're just talking at them. Yeah. So I wasn't trying to preach. I was just trying to.
I always heard it, but now I was like, why do you run every day? And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm running from diabetes. You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
it's like,
no, you're running to kick that motherfucker in the dick.
Exactly. Yeah. So, for me, like once I realized that you didn't just always, because some people just are that way. You know what I mean? That did inspire me. You know what I mean? So I remember you telling me a story where you told yourself you were going to get a six pack.
Yeah.
And somebody questioned you on that. And
my own mom.
Damn.
My own mom calling you out.
Right.
Love you to death. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. You are the best mother in the world. That's no hyperbole. That is the truth. But yeah, you were one of those people. It stuck out in my head. All my friends never thought I would have a six pack. I'll start.
So did that drive you, or
let me start from the beginning, because that comes from my mom's not a cold-hearted person at all. She's the most loving. She's not judgmental or anything. So she wasn't trying to be mean. She was trying to keep it real, like we're doing on this podcast.
Right.
She was just trying to make sure that I had an accurate sense of where my goals should be in being fit. And my goal was to have maybe some definition in hopefully maybe a six pack. But that was because I was a fat kid. I was an unhappy kid starting from about 7 years old. My parents were still married, but I hated school. I just said it before the podcast. Yeah. We were talking about it. I hate school.
My kids hate school. I've got two kids, and I don't know. It's weird. Like, they hate it.
If you're really intelligent, and you're there, it kind of feels like daycare.
Yeah. That's kind of what they say.
Yeah. Bored, they're keeping it real. You know, they're just aware, and they're intelligent as fuck. And it doesn't take a year to pick up the same shit that everybody else at that age group is picking up. If you are a little more advanced, turns out I was pretty advanced, and I got in a lot of trouble growing up. That's another thing that that we'll talk about tons that, I'm sure you probably
I'm just now realizing how much we have to talk about.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of material
that's
for the future. But yeah, I was always in trouble, kind of pushing things, testing things, trying to see what I could get away with, because I was bored as fuck. I grew up in a shitty little town where we didn't have a lot of really good outlets for kind of releasing angst. And then I kind of got typecast as this just troublemaker, but not recognizing the intelligence there, because I was kind of class clown, you know. I grew up in the fucking 80s and 90s when we could still get in fights and talk shit. And
right? Isn't that weird to think about? Like, we've all been in fist fights at school, but now you go to jail. Like, that's crazy,
dude.
Like, it just was a rite of passage.
I had a record before I was an adult, but I mean, it was not for assaults on the playground, you know. That's
so weird. Yeah.
So I started being more and more depressed, and it was probably due to a lot of just my parents' relationship in general not being healthy. And in the school I got switched to between second and third grade, I hated 100%. I had a whole new friend group and all that stuff. So I just started eating candy and finding those things that were, little satisfiers, little momentary pleasures that kind of took my mind away from not being happy. Started being lazy. I grew up playing soccer and playing tag and riding my bike up and down the street we lived on. Then we moved out to the country, when I was between 7 and 8 years old, and there was no place to ride the bike and stuff. I mean, we had quads and shit, and I swam in my creek because we had a creek, and it wasn't the worst, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't right for what I really wanted, and so I just started putting on pounds, and each year I started getting a little bit chubbier and chubbier and chubbier, and then my two grandmothers, who were like my rock, my emotional rocks, and my escapes, they both died within 3 months of each other.
Oh wow.
Which caused my parents to just collapse in their marriage. And I saw this shit come. I was in counseling since I was 10 years old, man, because I was, a little hellion. And I was telling my counselors for 2 years that my parents were going to separate and get an eventual divorce.
Wow, it's crazy that you knew that. Like, you caught on,
Well, I was aware, man. It's just not functional. It's not functional. Yeah. And I think kids are the smartest about that, because they can see things. They don't have to force things. Adults get into these modes,
right,
where you want to make shit happen. Oh, we got to make this relationship happen. We got to make this fucking job happen.
Stay together for the kids.
Yeah, got a mortgage, got bills to pay. It's too inconvenient or whatever it is, or let's tough it out and make it. No, I mean, if it's destructive and dysfunctional, sometimes the right thing is just to stop and restart, in a functional way. So I got real fat.
Did you did you notice it?
I was so self-conscious of it. Yeah. My brother was always skinny. So my big brother, 5 years older than me, always had a 6-pack, man. This motherfucker has a 10-pack. Yeah. This guy, he could suck in his stomach and you'd see his spine through the middle of his abs. I'm just like,
that's kind of what I meant. Like, there's just some people I feel like they just been like that.
Yeah, dude.
Motherfucker, I eat one fucking one piece of toast and I'm fat. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, man. I feel like I ate a whole loaf and shit. My brother's over there eating a whole pizza every day. The guy literally ate a pizza and a fucking bag of hot tamales.
And that's the problem is I'll have people tell me, they're like, man, don't go so hard. It's like, fuck it. You want to have a donut? Have a donut. But see, if I have a donut, then I'm killing hookers. Like, it doesn't just end there.
Dude, that's a dirty donut, dog. You got to be careful.
So for me, for right now, like, I know even the doctors, they're like, have a cheat day and all that, but I'm just not. For me, it's just not yet. Like, it'll happen. Yeah. Like Nikki's, my wife, Nikki's birthday's in like 3 weeks. I'm having a piece of cake. Now you better believe I'll run fucking 10 miles that day.
Now, are you going to collaborate on what type of cake she gets so that way you make sure that motherfucker is worth eating?
Oh yeah, that's true, man. Like, it better be the fucking.
You ain't getting stuck with no carrot.
Fuck
cake.
No.
Or German chocolate bullshit. I mean, something real proper.
Yeah. Even if she's like, I want this cake, I might get my own little cake.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Yeah. It's her birthday.
Yeah. So that'll definitely happen. But for now, like, honestly, when I have cravings, as weird as it sounds, what helps me is fucking exercise. You know what I mean? Like, I keep myself busy. I've always been really busy, but I hate sitting around. If I sit in my chair and start to watch I fly drones, so I'll watch drone videos. I'll catch myself being like, all right, that's enough. That's like 3 videos. Go fucking do anything. And really recently, I've gotten into weight training, which I really fucking love. As soon as I saw, like, oh fuck, I got baby muscles. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I saw, my whole life, I was really thin in high school, but I never had muscles. You know what I mean? I never was, you know what I mean? And I don't want to get like ripped or anything, but I, definitely want to have lean muscle. You know what I
Muscles
mean?
motivate.
Yeah. And especially as a male, like I'm not going to bullshit. Like I'll walk around the house with my wife and I'm like, look at this baby. And I know it ain't shit, but it's more than I had.
Oh, she's
you know
liking
what I mean?
it.
She loves
She
it.
likes it.
She loves it. Yeah. So I think that's funny. You know what I mean? But,
Well, it's a beautiful thing because those are the things that actually inspire you to fucking keep doing it.
Right.
It's those little bonuses. It is looking in the mirror. I mean, yeah, you ain't trying to fucking stand there and floss like some runway model, but
right. You're not going to see me with all the Instagram. Like I'll put up Instagram and Facebook stuff if it's going to hopefully inspire somebody. I made a little video recently, but it's very rare. Now, I suppose if I did get ripped, yeah, there'll be that one shot. I'll be like, this is the last one, but check me out,
that's
guys.
funny as
You know what I
shit,
mean?
brother. Because I actually posted one ad pic on my thing today, on my Instagram, of my abs because I haven't had anything
it's like-
on my body on there for like 8 months.
And then when you see that, it fucking inspires you yourself. You know what I mean? You're like, this is what hard work does.
Word.
You know what I mean? And again, that's really what this podcast is about. And by the way, because of that, Sean and I have had really a tough time figuring out just an awesome name. So like, if any of you guys have any ideas, please send them in. You can send to carltontattoos@gmail.com with some ideas. We're open to some, I just want it to be a badass name. So for now, it's just welcome to the show. You know what I mean?
yeah, two healthy dudes, whatever you want to.
Yeah, because we're, like I said, we're going to talk about whatever we fucking want to talk about, to be honest with you. We're going to have guests on, you know what I mean? If you've got an awesome story, if you've got an awesome weight loss story or something funny, like we're interested in hearing from you as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I would love for anybody who's like a really good fitness professional to try to reach out and maybe show some of us of like if you have an account on Instagram or something, some videos of where we could be like, oh yeah, you actually know what the fuck you're talking
exactly,
about.
and that goes back to I love knowledge. I read a lot. I know you read a lot too. Audible is like the best thing that ever happened. I'll read.
Preach.
I'll read easily 10 books a year now because of Audible. So I guess I'll listen. But I mean, man, I get that information so much better. When I was younger, I read all the time, and I'm so busy. But I can tattoo and listen to Audible. I can go to. I go to bed. Audible's just always on for me.
Dude, I take a shower and listen. You
Oh my
texted
gosh.
me like an hour ago, or saying, "Hey, I'm here, ready to get going."
Right.
I was listening to Game of Thrones book 1 on Audible for
Absolutely.
like the fucking 15th time,
Right.
Because I love the dialogue in that shit.
Nobody loves Game of Thrones more than Sean McCoy, by the way.
I don't know. Sean King might be
Yeah.
freaking out right now. Fuck that!
I like how, like Sean King, my shot partner, Sean King he can be like super serious until I bring up MMA, and then it's on. Like he's done. Like MMA is like so important to him, and I'd be tattooing you, and we'd be in this deep conversation about aliens and shit. And then I'd be like something about Tyrion, and you'd be like, bro, and then your phone was on, and you were just listening to fucking Game of Thrones, and everything was derailed. It's like it's so funny to me. But what's also funny is that I didn't think I would like it. Like when I heard about it, that noise is Sean smoking, by the way.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Just so they know what's going on.
Smoking chronic, okay?
Right.
Let's get that straight.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You never smoke cigarettes, huh?
I smoked cigarettes for a long time,
But not now. You
no,
have a
I haven't
long time,
smoked
yeah.
for 12 years. I haven't smoked since I quit drinking.
Yeah, nice.
So
nice.
it's 11, a little over 11 years.
We'll have to get into that story too, for sure. But yeah, everybody was just going nuts about Game of Thrones, and I was like, I don't know, man. I heard isn't there dragons in it? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And out of
Yeah, there's fucking dragons.
Oh, well, now that I know, goddamn, like, I didn't know how good it was, just how well made it was. I mean, it starts out with zombies in the snow.
Yeah.
They should have
So,
told me that.
yeah.
That's how you sell it,
Yeah, well, I mean, shit, Doc. Give it 5 minutes and you're gonna find out. That's the coolest
Yeah.
thing. It's not even a spoiler,
No,
you know.
my wife had no desire. And I'm like, let's give it one episode. And she was like, fucking 5 minutes, yeah. She's like, this is awesome. And I'm like, another episode? And she's like, 5 more episodes. Like, it's the best show ever made. I mean, god damn, how is it not? Like,
I know, man. And
You
the
know?
funny thing about that is that the books are so much better. And that's
yeah,
not that
so
old.
speaking of Audible, I need to get on that for
Yes.
sure.
And I already told you that loophole.
Yes,
I
I've already
mean-
done it. I've already signed up. Yeah, because me and Nikki are both getting books all the time.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean?
Me too.
So, but speaking of books, like I said, did I interrupt your story? You good?
No, we're good.
Cool. So Dr. Jason Fung, like I said, wrote the book The Diabetic Code, which I listened to on Audible. But one of the things that he brought up to me that really got me excited was fasting. And, you had talked to me about intermittent fasting. Joe Rogan is all about it. And I, like most people, was as soon as you tell somebody, especially like your mom, I'm fasting. Oh my God, you're going to lose your muscle. You have to eat every 3 hours or your brain won't function if you don't eat carbs. All this is bullshit.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And it kind of scared me as well. But one of the number one things to immediately start the reversal of type 2 diabetes, amongst other things, including cancers. I'm not saying it cures all cancers. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but it definitely can help things. But anyway, I think when you think of fasting, you think of like just not eating at all. But intermittent fasting, it's pretty fucking easy.
Dude, it's so easy.
You know what I mean? Like all you have to do is have an eating window and a fasting window. You know, you're in a fed state or you're in a fasted state. A lot of people will do 8 hours. I know you told me you were doing about 8 or 10 hours.
Like 9.
9 hours. So, Sean will simply stop eating. And here's what's great. It's movable. So he'll stop eating whatever time he chooses. And usually, half of it's done while he's sleeping, more than half of it. He just sleeps and he doesn't eat until it's been 9 hours. And he can change that to 16 hours, which is what I do, or sometimes I do more. Believe it or not, I just finished a 48-hour fast.
Jesus.
Yeah, mainly just to see if I could push myself. And you know what? It wasn't hard. I read that someone said when you're hungry, you're no hungrier in a fast than you are whenever you're just regular hungry. So if I'm sitting at Applebee's and it's taken a while, that hunger that I feel, it's not really any different in a fasted state. So once you realize you're not going to die, because I have plenty of fat to feed off of.
Yeah, you got some reserves.
For days, I got reserves. So I wanted to see if I could do it. It wasn't about weight loss. It was a little bit of a spiritual thing. I just kind of wanted to see if I could do it. And it was no problem. In fact, it was so easy that I did 48 hours. I broke the fast. I ate healthy. And then I immediately went into a 24-hour fast.
Man.
Yeah, and then today, pre this podcast, I did 21 hours.
Good job.
Right? So these are the things, without getting too deep into it, it doesn't allow your body to go into all of the modes where it is digesting. So it's not doing all this work. So it's just, it's got to do something. So it's going to start repairing these cells. Human growth hormones kick in. Sometimes I feel like I'm on steroids because my body is switched over. It's not fucking just eating sugar now, because that's what happens when you eat carbs. It turns into sugar, and so your body loves that because it doesn't have to go into your fat reserves. That's your survival mode. Back from when we were fucking cavemen, right? Because you didn't know when you were going to eat, when you're going to fight a fucking cat.
You had to store that shit.
Yeah,
we've got great systems for storing
our bodies.
Calories.
It's insane when you realize just how wonderful this machine fucking works, and it's also crazy that we're not taking care of it. You fucking put oil in your car and you change the tires.
Some people.
Yeah. So now when I see somebody eating shit, I'm like, it's like, oh, he puts that in his mouth. Like I wouldn't put crack in my mouth, but you know what I mean? He's putting that garbage in his mouth, and now I know better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to preach at all, because I fucking did it forever.
Yeah.
And I fucking love some McDonald's. You know what I mean?
You recognize it because you're alert to it, because you were that dude.
Exactly.
And you
so
have
I
to
can
make
really,
that switch.
exactly. I can say it. And again, I thought I felt like shit because of my age. I had no idea. And I'm not lying when I say I feel as good as, maybe better than I felt in high school.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel amazing, and I come to work and tattoo now for 5 or 6 hours. I did the last session I did on you. I was like, God, we just did 6 hours, and I didn't even feel winded, tired. I used to be fucking done. I didn't even want to clean up my station. I just wanted to go home.
That was the best session we've had in a couple of years.
Yeah, and it's so efficient. So, you know what I mean? Everything healed flawlessly. Like, I'll brag, but it's a good fucking tattoo. You know what I mean? And it's only going to get better.
It's a Joshua Carlton
right.
tattoo.
I appreciate that. But, so, we'll go more into all of the things, but look into intermittent fasting. Don't be afraid of it. Obviously, talk to your doctor.
Well, let me give them a little bit of information on, because there's several different variations. And I talk about intermittent fasting with my buddies at the gym, or people at the grocery store, or my parents, whoever it is that's, asking me what it is that I'm doing, or asking me any type of question about diet or routine, because everything does start with diet. I mean, food is the number. It really does. I mean, food is the fuel. We both, you've heard me talk and use that term before, but now you use it too, because that's what the fuck it is. What you put in you is what you're going to perform on.
100%.
So I got hip to this thing, not because I wanted to be any skinnier or have my abs pop any harder. It was about my health too. Because I was sleeping pretty shitty. shittily. Sorry.
I remember you coming in a couple of times and just like, you all right? And you were just tired.
Yeah, man.
You're
Just,
tired.
I wasn't working out as much as I would have liked to for a couple years stretch until I met my massage therapist about a year ago, and I was able to start working out some scar tissue and some bullshit that had been holding me up from doing the routines and the things that I wanted to be doing, the activities and the workouts. But that's changed, so I'm blessed that way. But my sleep still was kind of a struggle. I wasn't feeling rested, and I didn't know if it was sleep apnea, if it was just some fucking breathing shit. I've had to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor before. I had a septum.
And when you can't sleep, I mean, that interrupts your whole life. It really fucks with you.
Dude,
what I mean?
I like my sleep, man.
Yeah.
I smoke weed, and I want to be getting the good sleep and getting rest, and then waking up and hitting the day hard, ready to go.
Yeah, I slept horrible my whole life. I know you've heard me tell the story about how I would say I think I have worse insomnia than possibly like record book kind of shit. I would go to bed sometimes as late as 7 a.m. My tattoo appointments always start at 2 o'clock because I don't know when I go to bed. So, absolutely, as soon as I start getting healthy, immediately sleep like a fucking baby.
Well, and that was the thing that I recognized with the intermittent fasting thing, and that's why I stuck with it and then started really,
you do it every night.
Talking it, because it was the only thing that really helped me get that good sleep. Yeah. And I still, get up and I go pee in the middle of the night or whatever because I drink so much fucking water.
Same here, yeah.
Because that's my shit, and I don't drink alcohol, and I stay hydrated.
I don't even do diet soda and stuff. It's water.
Yeah,
I tried like all the diet stuff, and it'd be like, ooh, this is good, and then the aftertaste, and then you read that it's worse than regular.
What's in all that shit?
Yeah, like it's not good.
It's not good.
But our water here in Oregon is the shit. I mean, it's
shit.
tested like 20 times a day or some crazy shit. Who knows? But anyway, it's fucking good.
It's good.
And so that's all I need. I need that, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't drink juice or anything anymore. I can't. You know what I mean? The sugar. But luckily, I love water. Things would be a lot fucking harder if I didn't. You know what I mean?
Well, even with my mates, and I brought you one, but I pounded 2 of these before our podcast, which I usually don't do.
Those are good because they're sugar free. So
yeah, these are the unsweetened yerba mates, and that's what I do. I don't do coffee, and I don't do sweeteners in my stuff because I'm real sensitive about what I put in my body.
I don't think a lot of people realize calorically what drinks can do. You know what I mean? Look at alcohol. Like I've got a lot of really healthy clients, and they'll be like, man, I do eat right, but fucking alcohol. You know what I mean? And so I'm lucky. I never drank. I've been drunk once in my entire life. It was awesome. I get it. You know what I mean?
You're that lucky dude,
but
man.
I just don't. I have no attraction to it at all. Same with cigarettes. I smoked a cigarette on 9/11 because when I met my wife, we were on our 3rd date on 9/11. By the way, she smoked.
Shit! You mean the day 2001?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she smoked, and I was like, "Fucking give me a cigarette.
Give me a cigarette, baby. I'm with you." That's a team right there.
It was our 3rd date. I flew her to Las Vegas, and I was like, I'm gonna make her think I'm a fucking baller, and like, I told her, I'm like, don't bring any money.
Well, word.
And we got stuck there for 7 more days, and I was like, oh, I wish you'd brought
Because
some
of
money.
the planes,
we couldn't leave. We couldn't even rent a car.
A week in Vegas, that's kind of hard to maintain.
Yeah, but and we'd we're into each other.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, well, shit, let's go enjoy Vegas. But everything was closed because you couldn't, no high buildings, and that's all of Vegas, right? So we just kind of hung out. You know what I mean? And then we bought a fake wedding ring, and when we came home, we told all of our family that we got married in Vegas, which it was our 3rd date, But I guess that's one good story to come out of 9/11. I met the love of my life, so I've been married. I've been with her 17 years now. So, and
it's pretty awesome that you can remember on like one hand. You can count on one hand how many cigarettes you've smoked.
Yeah. Like one of my best friends in the world, Sean King, who we're going to be doing a podcast about tattoos. You'll be hearing later. He smoked since he was like 11.
Yeah,
and he's really shown how hard it must be. I've seen him go through a ton of stuff. He was in a really bad car accident and pulled through and everything, but the cigarettes, man, they just fucking got him like.
Hey, the cigarettes are the most insidious fucking light duty bullshit, drug, quote unquote, air quote bullshit out there. They aren't that hard to quit. That's the weird thing.
That's what's weird is that my wife, she had smoked for years, but when I met her, and I told her straight up, I made her smoke outside. I'm like, I just don't like it, and she was into me enough, and she quit, man. She just fucking quit,
dude. Cigarettes are a deal breaker. If you smoke, I'm sorry, I can't.
You go to kiss me with the cigarette mouth, man.
I can't do it.
Nah,
I can't do it.
Yeah. So luckily she quit. And I ask her every once in a while, like, do you crave them? Because I can't even stand the smell. It gives me a headache.
Yeah, they're
Instantly
disgusting.
headache. Yeah. But man, I know it's got a hold on people. And,
Well, what it is that deep breath. So let me follow up. I'm not trying to just talk shit to people who smoke cigarettes. Obviously, that would be the most asshole thing. I started smoking cigars and weed when I was 12 years old.
Right.
And then I maintained that for a long fucking time. I started smoking cigarettes when I got put on probation when I was 15 years old because I couldn't smoke weed anymore. I started getting pee tested for cannabis hardcore because I was a little stoner, right? Like very, 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 very into cannabis, but that was my only thing. I didn't like alcohol, and I'd never done white drugs up until that point. So I went from being this stoner cat to not being able to smoke, being in this high pressure situation where I was depressed, had to pee in a cup 3 times a week, had to go report to dudes who could basically lock me up whenever they wanted. Because I was doing dumb shit. So I'll just admit it. Sure. I was doing shit that I should have been locked up for.
Right.
But I didn't know how to stop. That was a problem. I was so fucked up in my own head that I would seek all these things, these external things, cigarettes, alcohol, whatever it was, to try to take me out of that world I was in, my world, my reality. And cigarettes helped because they allowed me to, kind of take that deep breath and focus on something that was an escape.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you think about how good it feels just to...
man, especially after you run or you lift or you eat a meal or you have sex.
I'm guessing that a lot of people, I know there's the hand to mouth, and I know obviously there's the addiction, but, I wonder how many people realize that alone.
Anything to mouth. That's the thing. It is the hand to mouth. It's that sensation, but we're focused on that no matter what, whether it's if you're, into dicks, if you want one of those in your mouth, or if you're into nipples and you want one of those in your mouth, or both, whatever it is, we all kind of want something in our mouth because that is a source of nutrition, life, happiness, whatever you want to, pleasure.
When I remember, we would go grocery shopping and I would get like Fruity Pebbles cereal. And I'd forget about it, and I'd be watching TV, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, there's Fruity Pebbles in there," and that dopamine kicked in immediately, right? And I used to know that I would go into the kitchen, and that feeling of just knowing I was about to eat a bowl full of sugar was the best feeling ever.
It is.
I mean, I was addicted hard, man. It's crazy. Yeah. And if somebody would have told me then, how about instead of eating Fruity Pebbles, you fast for 18 hours? I'd have fucking murdered you.
You would have kicked them in the dick and said, "No, I'm gonna kick it with diabetes for a while."
So I definitely understand when you're not ready, you know what I mean? Like when you're not ready, I think I've kind of inspired people with my Instagram post recently. So I've had a lot of people messaging me, how do I do this? How do I do that? And some of them I can tell they're just not ready. Everything I say, they fire back with, well, I'm going to be hangry, I'm going to be this, or I'm just built differently. I just can't lose weight no matter what I do. And it's like, well, that's impossible. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a defeatist mentality.
Exactly. So if you're in a caloric deficit, you're definitely going to lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Right. So now obviously there's things that can happen as, it's easy at first, and then your metabolism changes because your body doesn't necessarily want to lose or gain weight. It wants to stay in the same place. It's surviving. But, that's a temporary thing, and you can fight that. And guess what fucking changes your metabolism? Fasting. You know what I mean?
It's one of the ways.
Yeah. So I've got a few things here just to kind of go over. It says fasting protects against neurodegenerative diseases. Insulin levels drop and human growth hormones increase. I mean, there's just such a list of things. It reduces blood pressure and cholesterol, not even so much just the act of fasting itself, but you're not eating all day long, therefore you're not putting cholesterol or salt in your body. It helps you have a longer lifespan. It boosts metabolism for fat loss. Plus, what I'll do is I work out in a fasted state. So, I'm burning 3 times more calories because I don't even have any sugar in me. You know what I mean? I'm going straight to that fat. I'm trying to be fat adaptive, you know what I mean? Get into ketosis. I want to be able, if I'm going to run 5 miles, I don't want 2 of those to be burning sugar. I want to go straight to that fat.
Yeah.
I got plenty of it still. I'm definitely down. I was wearing 38 pants, and now I wear 34s. Maybe 32s actually.
You're going to keep, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I can look in the mirror and already I could just kind of be like, okay, I'm not, you know what I mean? But I'm not done. Like,
no.
Like, will have a six pack. We'll be posting pictures of my six pack eventually.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, that's what kind of happened to me is the mistake that I made before and other people make is diets. You know, any diet will work, but a life change is going to change your life. You cannot just say, I need to lose weight to get skinny because I'm tired of being fat. You have to change your life. It has to become you. You know, like, if you were to say, tell me about Joshua Carlton, it would have tattoos, painting, you know what I mean? But now it's health. Health is going to be one of the first things.
Isn't that crazy?
And to be honest with you, I would have bet money if someone had said, oh man, you're going to be talking about health on a podcast. I'd been like, you got the wrong dude. You got the wrong dude because I love pizza.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that I wake up every morning excited to be alive because I'm not going to fucking let diabetes take my life. I have a lot of shit to do. I've done a lot of shit. I'm just getting fucking started.
You're a young buck, bro.
Exactly. And I didn't feel young, but now I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, you know, I have always been into my own financial health. And so I used to have this saying that no matter how good I did, no matter how, you know, if I did a bunch of tattoos or, you know, I have a number one selling book, you know what I mean? And it's made me a lot of money. But every morning when I would wake up and my feet hit the ground, I started at zero. But that was always financially. Well, now it's health.
Word.
So
health is wealth.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the lamest shit to say, but it's
how
so
much
accurate.
money can you have? It ain't buying time.
Yeah.
It ain't fucking buying time, man. And like, for me, when I get up in the morning, I don't care how many steps, because I always take at least, I have to do 10,000 steps a day. It's kind of a little obsession of mine. You got a phone app that'll show you. Your iPhone will just do it automatically. But anyway, everybody should be doing that. Not hard. But I don't care what I did the day before. I wake up, I fucking turn on my music. I listen to Joe Rogan. He puts on he does a speech about be your own hero. Please listen to that. I listen to it every morning. Sean sent it to me, so thank you. It's real short, and he motivates me, and I just start at zero. And if I don't feel like running or lifting or eating right, man, I'll as soon as you get started, it's on. You know what I mean? Once you just feel that little bit of wind in your face from the run, and how confident and good you feel from moving, you know what I mean? And not just sitting around idle. So, you know, like everybody out there listening, like get up tomorrow. As soon as your feet hit the floor, you're starting at zero. You can fucking do it. You know, don't fucking play the victim. Don't doubt yourself. Don't think that you can't do it because, you know, your dad is really fat and so you're just always gonna be fat. Like, you can do it. Like, even if it's not health, if it is finances, or you want to be a fucking podcaster or a tattoo artist, like, you can fucking do it. Not to sit here and sound cheesy and be like, you can do anything, but motherfucker, you can. You fucking can.
Most people can.
You know what I mean? And, you know, if you're listening to this type of stuff, then you probably have a motor because you're interested in what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? So.
And thank you for listening.
All right. Hey, guys, we just took a short break there. Sorry about that. First podcast. So there's going to be a couple of little interruptions like that. But we got some more shit to say.
Yeah, I had to smoke a J. And I had to take a leak.
I guess that would be the easier way, just to be like, yeah.
God, you have the best studio.
So, you know, one of the things that we talked about when you got here earlier is Sean and I have a mutual love of music, you know, and you definitely turned me on to some stuff. And I was kind of mentioning the new Childish Gambino, you know, and like, man, what do you think of that?
Well, you know, I sent you the video. And
yeah.
You were
I had seen it the night before.
Just checked it out.
Yeah.
Which my actual brother, Ty, he's the one who sent that to me. And then when I see some shit that that really makes me think, and I think it's pretty badass, I send it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, you've always sent me some cool shit, actually.
I try.
You know, do you know much about Donald Glover?
Yeah, I do.
So
that's Danny Glover's son.
I think you're right. I do think you're right.
It is his son.
So
I'm not knocking him for being
no.
You know, the son of a badass, richer actor.
He said so. Donald Glover is such a good example of what this podcast is about. Like, I am fascinated that somebody could be so fucking good at that, like a couple of many things. Like, so I discovered him through comedy. He's an incredible stand-up comedian. He's been on some great TV shows, and then I had no idea he could sing at all. And I had heard of Childish Gambino, which I'm like, what the weirdest name ever? What the fuck even is this? You know what I mean?
I've seen him a couple of times on my Pandora feed.
Yeah, and you're
one
like,
song
what?
I was like, I don't know,
exactly,
I don't know.
So I'm at a tattoo convention a few years ago, and that Redbone song comes on that he's got, and it's like not anything that would really the way it's like soulful and stuff. Normally, it wouldn't really be my interest, but it's just so fucking catchy and so good. And then when I found out it was him, I was like, I thought it was a woman almost, like Macy Gray or something, and I was like, holy shit. And it's like really just catchy. And I showed it to my wife, and she was like, this whole album is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's money.
It's crazy good. So for him to have had this incredible comedy career, and then he comes out with this show Atlanta, and it just starts fucking winning all these awards.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he like wrote it, directed it. Like, it's crazy good. It's like, how does this guy have all this time? But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, he made the clear decision, you know, I'm going to go out and be a badass. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I mean, you kind of have to make that decision. Like, I don't want to go to the army. I don't want to fucking go to college, whatever. My only choice, badass.
Well,
so, and that can cover a lot of, you know, area.
I think he had a lot of infrastructure and support around
Sure.
to kind of follow his passions,
Sure.
which is what's up.
And obviously, if he had better opportunities than you or I, then that's understandable, but don't let that stop
Well,
you.
who knows? You know, we don't know if fucking Danny Glover was a good dad,
Exactly.
if he was around.
I
Who
have
knows
no
how
idea.
many, you know, how
Yeah.
many nights he was on the Lethal Weapon set. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
come home. I mean, he might have been out
Yeah, it
doing
doesn't really
dirty
mean
white
anything.
girls. And,
Exactly.
You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything. I don't know. I'm
Right.
just saying you don't know what somebody's background is.
Right. You don't know what someone's going through. And that's
No matter what their wealth status
Exactly.
or social status, whatever
Exactly.
you want to, you know,
But
divide.
I think he's a great example of what we're talking about. And so the song we're talking about is This Is America. And
This is America.
and it's just fucking powerful. It's fucking powerful.
It's a pretty dope video. I mean, it's been getting a lot of hype.
Yeah.
It's definitely been a
There's already
sensational video.
people redoing it with like to Katy Perry, the beat for like it matches up to a Katy Perry song. So
Right.
the beat does, but
We should say too, he did kill it on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, man.
And so
because he performed it live.
and there's a lot of dudes, and then women. I mean, women can be dudes too, but I'm saying any badass performer kind of shows their mettle when they're in that type of situation.
Yeah.
You know, because it's you're in front of an audience.
Live in general, like, you know, with my band, I play guitar for This Patch of Sky, by the way. And no matter how awesome of an album we wrote, to me, it didn't matter if we couldn't be badass live. I wanted to be like, man, that album's good, but god damn, you see him fucking live.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's important. And you're right. Like, he fucking killed it on Saturday Night Live. I got to go to the Saturday Night Live set. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I don't.
I went to New York and love New York. And we went into the 30 Rockefeller Plaza. And there's a couple of things you can do depending on the day. And the day we were there was a tour of SNL. And that's my time to take my diabetic medication,
Nice.
which should be ending shortly, by the way. My doctor said I can get off of it. So I'm just making sure everything is good. But anyway, so we didn't see Saturday Night Live, but we got to sit in the studio and see where everything happened. They showed us how, like, they had this special area where Chris Farley always had to be because he always broke shit and spilled shit and everything. So they built him his
The
own
rage
little
cage.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
had a drunk tank for Chris
yeah,
Farley.
Yeah. And like,
Was there just like fucking irremovable mirrors
yeah,
everywhere?
because they just was
on flat surfaces.
He was gonna fuck everything up. You know what I mean? But another absolute genius that unfortunately died
God
too
damn it,
young. You know what
yes.
I mean? But that was one of the coolest times in my life to be at SNL. And so, like, when you see the audience, all of those people that are down lower are like friends and family, and then the audience is actually up a little bit higher up. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see the inner workings of that stuff. You know what I mean? I've been a Saturday Night Live fan forever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When I was young, my mom would watch the news, and she'd be like, "It's time to watch the funny news," is what she called it. So even when I was a kid.
Oh, dude.
what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Comedy's always been my thing. Like, I've even always said, you know, that's something I think could cure things as well. You know what I mean? Like,
You got to laugh.
yeah, you gotta fucking
And
laugh. And like, for me, almost nothing is off. Well, I'd say nothing is off the table. Like, if it's a joke, if it's meant in the taste of a joke, I got kids, but if you want to tell me a dead kid joke, but it's a joke, I'm cool with it.
Well, you know, there's something to be said about having a perspective. And that is one of the things that a lot of people in our society and across the globe, but our society, because that's where we're at and where we really have a base for talking.
Right.
They don't have a good perspective because of the media distracting them this way or that way, you know.
Which is crazy because that's something that I've heard my whole life. And I've always been such a like naysayer about stuff. And I'm like, the media's they're not controlling. They are. It's so obvious. It's just so. I mean, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. It's just so fucking obvious that, it's called, like, I call it wag the dog, like the tail wags the dog. Like,
Yeah.
One of the nice things about when I got diagnosed is I was so obsessed with my own health that I forgot what Trump was doing. I forgot what was going on in that world because that reality show, you know what I mean? So we can. It's
funny because my neighbor, Nick, you're an awesome dude. Thank you for letting me borrow the wheelbarrow today. But we were talking about podcasts today.
Nice.
And because I asked him if he listens to any, and I told him I don't listen to any political based podcasts because I don't need any of that type of stuff really in my psyche. I'd rather listen to comedy based stuff with comedians I know and I like that are talking about things that are, pretty much affecting me or on the same type of level. Life shit, everyday shit. Trump is on this next level crazy asshole fucking ego. He is an ego maniac.
Right.
But any asshole that wants to be in that position is going to be an egomaniac.
Yeah, the truth is that the climate of politics has changed so much because of Trump that unfortunately what will happen likely is a smoother, more polished, younger version of him will sneak in. You know what I mean? We'll be like, that guy can speak well and good looking. And
who forgot about Bush?
Right?
I mean,
yeah.
Who forgot about we had two really bad Bushes, man.
Yeah.
But we also had a shiesty as fuck Clinton,
Yeah.
and then Obama that wrote some fucking bailout bill right off the bat.
Yeah.
That if you don't know, that's worth over 13 some odd $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think that there's so many things, and not that I know it by any stretch, but that we have just no idea about.
Well, I tried to have an idea about.
Well, yeah, I think that you and I have a little bit more. I think there are people out there,
and that's
our
part
listeners even. But there are people who are so in the dark, and if you tell them that, even they're just going to roll their eyes. And I used to kind of be that guy.
Oh well,
you know
that's why you and me hit it off the bat right away, was because I might mention something, I might test the waters, dip my toe in about how fucked up Bush was for this reason, or maybe Clinton for that, and then you were like, I actually heard about, and did you know this? And I was like, yeah, actually, I did know that, but that's cool that I can talk about this shit with you.
Yeah. I remember watching this documentary about Halliburton, and it was like, I'm not getting my figures exactly right, but there was one screw that was needed for this military tank, and it was like $100,000 because they could just bill it to the government.
That's a pretty important screw.
Yeah, it's a real important screw.
Yep.
It's a fuck you screw.
Yeah, dude, that is a proper screw, you.
So it's just, when you realize this crazy shit that's going on, like, it's deep.
Follow the money. I mean, so many people, sorry to interrupt you, but it's where I say the commonality is between these guys, whoever it is, whether it's blue, red, left, right, who's backing them and what are their interests? How much money do they have, or wealth in general, when they go into office, and how much do they have when they leave office? And then 10 years after that, what is their personal financial status? And when you see them starting to gain hundreds of millions of dollars for appearances here, speeches there.
I mean, isn't Hillary Clinton getting like $100,000 per speech? I mean, come on.
I'm almost afraid to say anything about Hillary.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's one of those like, I don't want to die.
Right. I remember hearing stories about, this guy invented this is 20 years ago. This guy invented this car. It runs off of water. Murdered.
Yeah, I mean, that's a vague, conspiracy thing.
Yeah. And that guy committed suicide with 2 shots to the head. That's weird.
Yeah, that one, that's one of my favorites. When you're so remorseful that you're able to shoot yourself twice in the head,
you really want
to really kill those memories. And that's one of those things that it's kind of like a head scratcher.
Yeah, I'll hear about all of these amazing things. It's like, man, this guy invented these tiles that you can lay in the road, and they're digitally changed so lanes can change for construction. And I'm like, this is, first of all, it's 2018. We should fucking have this already.
Yes.
They promised us jetpacks, you know what I mean? But the shit has disappeared. It's like, you'll read about it and it's amazing and it's this badass idea. Gone. It's just gone.
Renewable energy sources. Yeah. I mean, so Tesla. I mean, that was one of the funnest tattoos to have you do for me, because we were able to talk about Tesla while you were doing it.
Always a huge inspiration to me.
Before you did it, and then while you were doing it, how amazing that guy was.
Right.
And how he changed, or he wasn't able to really change the world in any minor way compared to what he could have done.
Right.
because of the forces that took his inventions and his ideas that he just accessed from the ether. I mean, that was shit that just came to him in his pineal gland, apparently. And it's, the aliens or whoever sent him the images, the angels is what I think he was quoted for saying. But yeah, that was just technological information that came to him and he was able to produce. And the amazing thing was he wasn't able just to produce it. He was like Da Vinci in his ability to build those devices in three-dimensional space inside his own head and then run tests on them before he ever even built them in any physical space. And, he knew what things were going to do before they ever even came into reality. Yeah. And that's really power. That's the power of thought.
Yeah. And so you have to think that those minds like that are out there. I mean, the Mona Lisa was painted so long ago. And, as an artist, I see all these amazing painters and people think like we'll never paint as good as the masters. Like, why in the world would these people have been so much better? There are people who are so incredibly intelligent and are producing volumes of work that equal and rival the masters.
Okay, Bob Ross. Right. I'm not trying. He's no Mona Lisa painter, but the prolific.
Very prolific, extremely prolific.
The body of artwork that he put out. We have tens of thousands of paintings, but the dude could bust shit out in 30 minutes.
And he invented this method of this is how I paint a tree, and it's amazing because as an artist, I think of light and shadow, and he had a way of like placing the paint where it just kind of automatically did it.
One of the nice things, or one of those things that's funny about him was he always used common sense, and he would try to remind people the lay of the land goes this way. So if you're putting your grass this way, it's not going to look right. No shit. Yeah. You think?
I think it's weird how it's the phrase is common sense because it's uncommon sense.
It's very, why is that, bro? Why can't it just be sense?
Right. Right. Like, I always tell my wife, I'm like, I need your logic over here. I need you to come look at this thing I'm doing. I need your brain because she's got a good logical brain.
She's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
And okay, so I want to touch on this first podcast. The other thing that I really liked about you the first time I met you was your wife, because she was there and she was a powerhouse.
Right.
I mean, you guys, I could see the synergy almost between you. Yep. It was this, you were asking her, hey, babe, what's my schedule with this? This guy wants to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I never met somebody who really had an equal and talked to their spouse like an equal in every form, not just when she was there,
right?
Not just when she was present, but like, your level of respect and love for her is evident like none other.
Yeah, I'm super, super lucky. I really am. You know what I mean? Because I've been married actually twice before. It was my third marriage, but
tell people about time. That.
Right. So I most people for whatever reason are like, fuck marriage. I was like, I don't care. We can divorce. Like, I don't know what it was, but so like I married young.
We can divorce.
Yeah.
I just love that little quote. And most people are like, fuck marriage.
Yeah. Like I think when I was younger, there was a whole lot of any problem was just for future Josh. Well, future Josh showed up with diabetes. You know what I mean? So like
the future is now.
It happened fucking quick. So I was just like, I'm super into this chick. She's talking about marriage. Fuck it, I'll try marriage. Went terribly. Horrible. You know what I mean?
Who'd have guessed?
I know, right? So then I meet another woman and she's filthy fucking rich. Billionaire. Filthy rich. And I don't want to say that's the reason. She was super hot too. But I was like, God damn, this girl's hot and fucking super rich.
Bro, I'm sold. You said super rich, billionaire.
Right.
My dick got hard.
Exactly.
And I would have done it faster than you.
So we were in Vegas and we were like, fuck it. Got married in Vegas. You know what I mean?
Another Vegas.
Yeah. So that also went horribly wrong. And now the funny thing is that she ended up being on a reality show. And I didn't know about it. I was flipping to the channels and I saw her on this reality show. And she had this laugh that I fucking made me want to slit my throat. And as soon as she laughed on the show, I immediately was like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's her.
That's right.
So did you like cringe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, because she looked kind of good on TV. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh damn, I was married. Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's fucking what did it. Yeah. But no, I'm super lucky, that I really did meet the right person. I've definitely met the wrong people. And I think sometimes a lot of people end up with the wrong people. My parents also divorced. And, when you can have somebody in your life that's a team, that's part of your team, that's really irreplaceable. Nikki knows my schedule. She handles all of that. It's just kind of streamlined. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, I'm not one of those woo-woo, the stars are in alignment, astrological power type dudes, but I'm not one of those guys who's going to naysay that shit either. And you guys both are Geminis, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm a Gemini. And I think that is something that is like a commonality that's pretty powerful.
Isn't that weird shit though? Like, it's so weird because like, you know, when I used to be really into magic, like magician stuff when I was younger.
Me too.
And so I learned how to do like cold readings and stuff. And I used to think that it'd be like, oh, well, you know, you read your astrology information and it's like, you could probably read any of them and they'll match you. No, it's not like that. Gemini made sense to me.
Yeah.
But fucking Scorpio's never. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, you're no Leo.
Right, exactly. It's like, and for me, like when I meet a Scorpio, like I can tell.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a fucking Scorpio. I got it now. I got you a Scorpio. I'm gonna treat you differently when I tattoo you. You know. But it's so weird because the Gemini thing, the duality, and actually when I that's how I met my wife. She was getting the Gemini twins tattooed on the back of her neck. She came in and she said I was a dick to her. She said I was way too cool and too busy to do her tiny tattoo. But honestly, I did have an appointment, but she always reminds me that I was a dick to her. But
well, it worked.
It worked, yeah, because she got tattooed by my buddy, and I was definitely like, who is this chick? And, you know, the rest is history.
It's like, hey, baby, I see you're a Gemini.
Right. Exactly. That was easy to talk to her about. I'm
like, it's the icebreaker. Yeah. I mean, that was the sleaziest shit, but it's true.
The funny thing is that her first tattoo from me was her whole back.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted to give you some fucking touch on my skin type time.
Take me to Las Vegas so we get stuck there for a week.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like the best, but it's not the worst either. But you guys are such an amazing like chemistry. You have this palpable chemistry. She is definitely your better half.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love it when she's around too. And obviously we'll have to have some, ask Nikki advice or.
Yeah, actually, I thought about that. I thought about like people will write us and they'll be like, how do you guys, do it? Josh travels so much. I'm in a band that tours. How do you guys do it? So like, yeah, I wouldn't mind, like some questions about how, it's definitely more her than me. You know what I mean? Like I listen to what she says. But yeah, I think we should get her on here and talk about some advice for couples.
Yeah, man. You guys have a successful relationship, and you are the model that I kind of look up to or look to as, all right, that's kind of what I want in my life. Yeah. And I'm a picky guy. You know this.
Yeah. As you should be. You should be for sure. I wasn't my other two marriages.
Yeah, that whole well, fuck it. I mean, we can get a divorce.
Yeah, and by the way, that's really expensive.
Well, it helps when the other one's got all the loot, and you're just like, fucking okay. I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't jump on the sugar mama train either, but
no, when it was good, it was good. Like we had immediately. She was a twin, so like
what?
Yeah, so like. It's funny because her mom gave us, so when we got married, they gave us like a Motorola stock and then it split the next day. So like we just immediately had a bunch of our own money too. But then like we wanted to buy a house, and since they were so wealthy, the mom just gave us $50,000 to put down on the house. Nice. But since she's a twin, the twin's like, hey, what about me? She just wrote her a check for $50,000.
Oh, nice.
Fuck.
Hey, man.
God damn,
nice
you know what I mean? Holy shit,
I don't know, man. There's that thing there. Adversity creates character. Yeah. And if you have everything handed to you, you're probably not going to be as cool as you could have been.
Yeah, she's not a bad person. It's just she's just not the person for me.
She not know Nikki.
Right, exactly. I used to joke around with Nikki. I was like, I left a billionaire for your broke ass.
That's something you could bring up to the day you're dead, man. Yeah. But it's all in love because Nikki's worth all the money in the world and more. So that's what's up.
I think that shows the power of like when you really connect with somebody, because I literally had everything I wanted. If I wanted to open a tattoo shop, I had the cash. And I left everything to be happy. No regrets whatsoever.
Well, and you already know now because your health is up and stuff. And Nikki's doing the same thing with her
health. That's the thing is she had actually discovered the keto diet prior to all of this. So she had been on a weight loss journey, slow, much slower, but she's honestly, I think she's down 30 pounds as well.
Dude.
And for her, for me, it was all in my gut. So people will be like, damn, you lost weight. They can tell immediately. She carried it a little bit differently. So she doesn't, and plus people don't like to tell women they look thinner because they just go, what? So I was fat? So she doesn't, you know what I mean? So people don't say it to her as much. you can really tell.
I didn't hold back. You remember, because I saw her and she had a noticeable change before the Evergreen thing. Yeah. I don't know if she was just getting motivated for the Evergreen. She was motivated because
she was probably 18, 19 pounds down then. You know what I mean?
And she knew that, it was time for a change. Yeah. And so
we want our kids to like follow those footsteps.
Yeah. You know that's the thing too. You have two amazing kids who are in that very formative time in their life where
I don't want them to like not only remember fat dad, but like you don't need to fucking put that sugar in your face all the time. Like you can do it sometimes. We'll take you to Dairy Queen here. We're not going to keep you from being a kid.
And when you go, you should enjoy the shit out of it because it's not an everyday thing.
Treat. That's why it's called a treat.
Oh shit, man. DQ treat.
Yeah. It's not DQ for dinner, which I've done.
Yeah. Well, we're not trying to knock people that, haven't really figured their diet out yet, or if you don't have the financial stuff, the financial means to be able to eat as healthy as you'd like to, because
fasting is free.
That's true. And there are smart, there's ways to find affordable diets.
Absolutely.
You just have to take the time. Normally you have to cook, if you want to.
That's a big one, man.
Honestly,
like if you don't have a partner that cooks, learn to cook. You know what I mean? Learn to just focus on you. Focus on yourself.
For more than just the reason of being healthy and fit, it's really kind of one of those things that is just good to do. Yeah. I mean, it's like meditative. It's good for you accomplish something, and then you get the nutrition out of it. It's satisfying on so many levels. Plus, I gotta tell you, bro, I lost 2 really good relationships earlier in my life because the women couldn't cook. And so I was like, you're not the one. Yeah. Because that was my mentality at the time. Instead of going, well, I can't fucking cook.
Right.
I need to get my cook game up. I need to learn some shit. I need to be on YouTube.
Plus, what a badass thing when you have a new woman over at the house and you make a badass meal.
Bro,
come on.
I'm a threat.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like when I started my health journey, I learned to read the back of, packages. And then you realize that's great, but the best food is the shit that you don't have. There's nothing to read.
Yeah,
it's that natural stuff.
It's crazy when something's just like got like a natural peel on it. Yeah, that's the wrapper. Yeah. Like my avocados,
and that's the whole thing with there's all these studies that show there's parts of the world that just don't have the diseases that we have. They never ate like we do. You know what I mean? Even still in America, even 20 years ago, you know what I mean? The rate for diabetes is like tripled. And like I heard the other day, 83% of people with pre-diabetes don't even know it. They don't know it. I didn't know it.
You didn't fucking know it?
They just feel like shit. You know what I mean? And then you solve it too by doing other things. Alcohol. The thing what sucks is what solves your fucking sugar cravings is fucking more sugar, because your body wants that because it's not going into fat storage. So it's like, give me more of that. That's why you get you're super hungry. Once you start fasting and cut all that shit out, I don't get crazy hungry, ravenously hungry at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I eat, it's good, but like, I just don't have that because I don't have sugar in me.
Sugars cause some of the worst cravings that you'll ever have in your life.
And talk about addiction. Holy fuck.
That's the most fucking addictive thing, dude. I tell you what, still to this day. All right. I haven't done heroin. I've never slammed a load of heroin in my life, but I've done a lot of opiates, pills and smoked opium. I've done a lot of meth, but I've never done any intravenous drugs, but I've done everything else.
Right.
And I've done them well. So I know what it's like to stop doing things that most people go, oh my God, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Well, let me tell you what. It's all about how you approach it mentally, first off, and then how that thing affects your body, secondly, and when you're like getting it out of your system.
Yeah.
First off, the most insidious thing I ever did quit wasn't alcohol. Definitely wasn't cigarettes. That was the easiest shit in my fucking life.
Right.
It was pills. It was pharmaceutical
opioids.
Opioids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that shit hurt.
Yeah.
But I made sure, and I felt it. I didn't take any of that Suboxone or whatever the other stuff is that these junkies like to take to wean themselves off so they can jump back on the fucking junkie train quick. Because I wanted to remember how bad that shit affected my body. I can still feel it in my legs if I want to, because it hurt that bad.
That's what's so crazy about opioids is, I have never really been someone that was even attracted to drugs, but I got a really, really bad cough one year. They call it the 100-day cough. Literally, it's what it sounds like. It was terrible. And
I had that for 4 years.
Fuck, man. You know, I went to the doctors, and they're like, "Are you allergic to anything?" And I'm allergic to codeine, so they couldn't prescribe what they needed to prescribe, so they gave me Vicodin.
Oh, word, nice.
And I never, I knew the word Vicodin was scary. You know what I mean? But Vicodin works in a way where in 30 minutes, not only did I not cough, I felt amazing.
Yeah, you're going to feel pretty goddamn sunshiny.
I felt amazing. And at that time in my life, I was pretty depressed. You know what I mean? It's always raining in Oregon. It really affected me. So I quickly went, oh God, I could see this easily.
Yeah.
It was so powerful that I actually saved 2 of them for nights that were so crushingly depressed. It was a dark time in my life. I saved them for that purpose.
Nice.
And even though I only had 1 prescription, I went through withdrawals. I mean, that's all it took. I fucking had the super cold shoulders and the shivering. I went through withdrawals from 1 prescription fill of fucking Vicodin.
Dude.
And it's been 5 years, and this talking about it right now, I'm like, You know what I mean? So that's how powerful that shit is.
Anything. I mean, a donut. I'm still like,
donut. Yeah, and here's what you guys don't know is that my studio is literally sharing a wall with Voodoo Donuts. They're open till 4 a.m. I used to come in and I would kind of pretend like, oh, I'm in a hurry. I didn't eat. I better eat a donut. That shit was my plan all along. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird how that worked out.
So like now, I'm not at a point at all where I can go over there, but it'll happen. When I hit my goal weight, I'm 7 pounds from my goal weight. When I hit my goal weight, I'll be able to have a donut. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll be able to be in, because that donut will be once a month, maybe.
And you know the thing about that donut? Is you're not even going to want to finish it because they're so fucking rich.
I've noticed that like the couple of times that I have been like, fuck it, give me a Coke. And I took a drink of a Coke. It's like, oh my God, I can taste it.
It tastes different.
Totally different.
Different.
Yeah. Like it's so fucking strong. It's so sugary.
Dude, it's syrup.
Yeah.
I mean, you could taste that shit, man. You're like, oh, I can almost taste this fucking corn syrup being squeezed into this shit.
Yes, 100%. There's a saying, they said you can't ever go home. It's like, shit doesn't taste the way I thought it did, which is really good because when I do kind of have a breakdown, it's never, not once in the 3 times I've kind of like almost cheated, I'll have a, bite of a fucking Sonic burger and I'm like, it's all right.
It's all right.
You know what I mean? Like just a good piece of chicken is good. Just a good steak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's good fat.
Good fat.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that, dude, when you say a good burger, I go with the best meats because I want the best fat.
Yeah.
I want that good shit that my body's craving.
So we have been told for forever, low fat diet.
Yeah, and sugar's not that bad for you.
Yeah, well, even telling you carb it up. The fucking food pyramid is upside down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck that pyramid, man.
Yeah, so like that's the thing is, it's so easy to go to your doctor and have them tell you, my wife's father was diagnosed with diabetes before I was, and they told him, first of all, not in any way curable. You'd eventually take your eyes and your legs, and so what you need to do is eat a lot of carbs. It's the worst fucking. They should have stabbed him.
Yeah, it's nice that the healthcare professionals are looking out for you and doing no harm.
Yeah. So they put you on this medication called metformin, which does lower your blood sugar, but it does absolutely nothing to cure. So basically, you're a recovered alcoholic, right? Recovering alcoholic. I guess it's always like that. So that is me telling you to give you more alcohol. Yeah, it's going to subside whatever you're feeling, but it's in no way going to cure your alcoholism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what...
No, it's going to make it worse.
Yeah. So type 2 diabetes is my body produces too much insulin. So what do they prescribe you? Insulin.
Yeah, let's do that.
What the fuck?
Fighting fire with fire.
Yeah. So yeah, it might make me feel better at the time, but I want to cure this bitch.
Yeah.
I want to reverse this bitch. I don't want a fatty liver. You know what I mean? I don't want a fucking fatty anything. You know what I mean? So,
I want a fatty dick.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikki was like, it was funny because I was like, but look how much weight I'm losing. And she's like, your dick better not be getting thinner. It's like, oh shit, I hope that doesn't happen.
You just let me know, baby. You keep tabs on that. I put you in that department.
It's so funny. Like when I started losing weight, like, all my weight really is in my gut. A little bit was in my face. It's a lot thinner now, but I fucking noticed my shoes would be fitting looser. And I'm like, are you kidding me? My
fat
fucking feet?
You fat-footed dude.
So it's like your body is like, so wherever the most storage is, my gut, that's last, man. So it's going to take it off my, my fucking armpits or something. Like my fucking feet? Come on, man. It's like okay, the scale shows that I'm lighter, but my feet? Fuck you,
That's cool, man. Now you got a fucking wider variety of shoes that are going to fit you better.
I had to fucking I can't even really get new clothes because I'm still going. So like,
yeah, you don't want to commit yet.
So I got like, you'll see me a lot in this Vans hoodie because it's fucking fits for now, but like I have one of them.
But that's smart, man. You're in this transitionary period. You don't want to go out and blow a wad on a new fucking wardrobe.
Yeah, no, because it's ridiculous. Because I put on, it was always it was double X for a minute, probably right at the first mention.
Damn,
it was just XL most of my life.
Yeah,
and I put it on. That shit's a nightgown.
Because that was just a gut. It was just the gut.
Yeah. So I put extra. I have all these fucking tattoo shirts and it's just fucking nightgown, man. I look like a fucking idiot in them. You know what I mean? So,
dude, I've got similar shit, man.
Yeah. So then I can't really even wear because like I can fit into a medium now, but I'm weight training. So I'm gonna have to go back up to large, hopefully with the bulk. You know what I mean? So I just got to wait it out, man.
Exactly.
Wait it out, yeah.
And use those XLs as a fucking workout.
Yeah.
When you're at your house and shit. Exactly, man. I got so many things just for rags and shit like that.
Yeah, because I don't like I'll be running and I'll see other dudes running and they're just real lean and I'm like, I want to be thin, but I don't want to just be that skinny dude now.
Well, you want to have a good solid core.
Yeah.
There's really a difference between being skinny, which I always wanted to be slim, and when I was growing up, because I'm a tall guy, well, just let
you're like 6.
Some old lady at the bakery asked me today. She goes, "Excuse me, me and this lady, we're just wondering, how tall are you?" And I'm like over 6'6" when I'm wearing the shoes I was wearing at the time.
Right.
I'm like 6'7". I was like, in these shoes, 6'7".
Right.
But I'm
tall.
I'm only like 6'5".
Right.
But yeah, I'm pretty tall. I just look tall because I'm slim and
But you've got the nice lean muscle. That's the thing. Is like there's like everybody knows that skinny kid. It's like that's cool, I guess.
I have it now because
you didn't,
when I was really hitting the weights hard after I quit drinking is when I got into health.
Right.
That's when I got motivated to get my ass in shape. And I quit drinking 6 months after I quit opiates. I mean, once I quit the opiate train, I was ready to get my health in order and get my body to a state where it would feel good.
Yeah.
I want to wake up feeling good without having to put substances in.
Isn't it amazing? Like, how did you know you could feel that good? Like that.
Never.
I feel like every time I see anybody, I feel like I almost need to apologize about how fucking positive I'm about to be with them because I'm like,
fuck them.
I know. I'm like,
fuck them. Infect them with that positivity.
Everything's so amazing. I feel amazing. They're like, because they might not feel amazing. You know what I mean? And I want to just take everybody with me too.
But that's one of those cool things that is very infectious in a good way.
Yeah. Well, like I've got a sister that she's tired of being overweight, and I was like, fuck it. You get to your, you get whatever number you're thinking of. You get there, I'll give you $1,000 cash, and I fucking can't wait to give it to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And she was like, "Are you fucking serious?" I'm like, "God damn, I'm serious. Like, you're my sister."
Yeah.
And I want if that's what it takes, like it shouldn't necessarily take cash, but that was just that extra.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a supporter no matter what. You know what I mean?
No, that's
but
beautiful.
last time I talked to her, 15 pounds down, and that hasn't been that long.
My God.
You know what I mean?
saw her.
Yeah.
At the Invitational
Yeah.
at Evergreen. That's one of Joshua's big shows.
Yeah.
And that's here in Eugene. And she, I thought how good Nikki looked, and I was thinking, man, it'd be awesome if Nikki could try to motivate Jamie a little bit.
I think life happens, and you put on a little weight. You know what I mean? I fully, like, everybody always asks me if my plan is sustainable. The reason I'm going so hard right now is that's part of how you cure the diabetes. So you have to go kind of quickly. You have to lose those calories pretty fast. Once I get to my goal weight, people don't like to weigh themselves every day. I like to weigh myself every morning.
Yeah.
And so
at this point, you should.
Yeah. Because I want to take responsibility for where I'm at. So if I get to my goal weight and I go out and I have birthday cake, first of all, it takes 3,500 calories to gain or lose a pound. So it's kind of a lot.
It's a lot.
But if I do gain 2 pounds, and because I'm checking daily, that's where it's sustainable, because I go, okay, it's only 2 pounds. I'm not going to hate myself, but guess what I'm going to do? I'm definitely going to go on a 24-hour fast. I'm definitely going to run a little harder, and I'm going to be right back. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go, I did it. That's my diet. It's over.
Well,
no, it's a life.
Your mentality is the proper one, but you're going to hit that point where you're not going to be able to fast for 24 hours fucking super frequently because you're not going to have the reserves around.
And that's, to be honest with you, I haven't even thought about that, but you're right, because you wouldn't be wise for you to fast for 48 hours. You don't have the reserves.
I've literally just had this discussion twice in the last 24 hours about what my intermittent fasting is compared to others.
I think what you're on is perfect for you.
It is.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I do it. I don't do it because Rogan talked about it
Right.
and or somebody else or some hot chick that I'm trying to hook up with.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, I'm on her shit. My girlfriend's vegetarian, so that pretty makes me,
Yeah, exactly.
dude, I ain't no fucking, come along homie. I'm going to figure out what works for me.
Yeah. And that's important.
Well, it is. And that's why I'm doing the everyday. I try to eat in the 9-hour window every day and not eat for those other 15 hours.
Right.
Which for me works. But my buddy who turned me onto the intermittent fasting kick over 6 months before I ever even thought about doing it myself, because I was like, I can't do that shit.
Yeah. Immediately it's like, it's scary.
He told me that he did it an intermittent fasting diet every month for 5 days. And that's where he would cut out half of his calories per day for a 5 to 7 day stretch. And he did, he's fucking ridiculously smart. And so he always does research whenever he's trying to give me,
Right.
advice about something. I know he's already done research, so I can really pick him apart.
Yeah. You got those people that like when they talk, you listen, and some,
This guy,
nice
he knew what articles to send me
Yeah,
and what
yeah.
other stuff to show. But he's a dude who treated his body like shit. All right. This guy is a fucking beast. He's one of my best friends. He's like family. And I love him to death because he was such a savage. And his style and his mentality is one of my favorites. But he looks amazing. Guy looks like he's fucking in his 20s, and he's going to be 40. He might even be 40 right now. So I wondered what the fuck was up with his like, young look.
It does. Like I've had several female clients specifically, and they'd be like, not that you looked bad, but your skin looks so, it's like when women are pregnant, you know what I mean? There's these chemicals. Yeah, my fucking body's fixing itself.
It's actually producing these chemicals that it's never done before.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sleeping.
And it's like reversing some aging shit.
Well, shit, I guess I recently learned that when you eat, some particles of food can stay in your gut for 20 fucking years.
Yeah, man. Elvis, brother.
Yeah. So when you're fasting, your body has to get whatever it can. So, hey, here's some food from 20 years ago. It's cleaning that shit up. You know what I mean? That's amazing.
That 20-year-old burger shouldn't be in
fuck.
there. You should
like just knowing that makes me feel like fuck. Ugh. You know what I mean? So
that's why it's really cool to do some of those cleanses like you're doing when you're doing a fucking 48-hour fast. That's a cleanse. Your body is literally using up the nutrients it has in its digestive tract.
And I couldn't believe how good I felt even the night of, and then the next morning was like fucking rocket fuel. You know what I mean? It was like I felt amazing enough to say, fuck it, 24. And I just did it. So I went 48 hours and then immediately into a 24-hour fast.
I think that's the most powerful thing to motivate yourself to continue trying to be healthy and better yourself is when you see results, when you feel results.
That drives me. It drives me, man. Like, it's like the scale is not for me. It's not even about being thin at this point. It's just jumping high enough to touch that branch that you can't reach. You know what I mean?
Dude.
And I'd walk home from school and they'd be this branch, you know what I mean? And I would just tell myself, today's a motherfucking day. You know what I mean? I couldn't get it yesterday. And I will fucking, just little shit like that. I'm going to touch that branch. I'm going to they're for me. They're my own personal little contests. So the scale has become that for me. I fight, fuck you scale. I'm going to fucking do it.
Well, there's only one thing I can say about getting into watching the scale every day that can be negative, and that's just you want to make sure that you're staying hydrated.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there who's only trying to lose weight, you don't want to worry about the weight necessarily as opposed to
because it'll go up.
Yes.
You'll be like, I fucking did everything right, and I'm fucking more water weight. There's, you know what I mean? And again, 3,500 calories to lose a pound. Even if you do your metabolic rate and you eat the exact calories to lose, the scale can go up. And that's why you should also never weigh yourself, say, in the middle, like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It could literally be up to 10 pounds higher.
Man.
They'll
pee
fuck
out
you up. Yeah.
liters every night.
Yeah. So I get up. It's always early. Get up, pee. You know what I mean? And then you weigh yourself. I've even gotten up at like 6 and weighed myself, and then went back to bed and at 9 weighed myself again and was a pound lighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. So, but there's a thing with that. You can tell, when it's water weight or when it's not.
Yeah.
But that's where you don't want to become obsessed with numbers, because you can get into this thing where you're going to trick yourself into feeling, I don't have to run because, I didn't really drink that much water.
Exactly.
No, you want to run and drink fucking water.
Yeah.
So you're sweating out and then replacing fluids. So you're going to, you don't want to have to.
And it slows down. Like if you're really overweight, if you're 300 plus pounds, you're going to drop pounds fast in the beginning. You know what I mean? Even me, I was dropping a pound a day in the beginning.
You had it to lose.
Yeah, I had it to lose. And now that it's closer, like I said, I'm 7 pounds from my goal, which I'm pretty sure should be my if I follow the BMI stuff, which, they don't count muscle, it should be right about there for my height and everything. But that pound a day shit, I was like, shit, I got this. Yeah. And then it just like,
you plateau.
I plateaued for a minute, and I was like, what the motherfucker? I thought my scales broke.
Well, the other thing with that is that you're gaining muscle.
Exactly.
And so that
and I remember that. Yeah.
It weighs so much more than fat.
It really does. And that's the thing is, like, if I get on the scale and it hasn't moved, but I can look in the mirror and see the results, fuck the scale.
And the doctors have like the scientific shit down for measuring your fat percentage. So if you really want to know what level,
if you really want to know,
there's easy ways to find out now. And that's a good way to get a realistic idea of where you are body wise, if you're really trying to have some sort of base to compare from and build from.
Right.
If you don't give a fuck, or if you're not trying to find out, you're not going to do any of that shit.
Yeah. Do you like, what's your workout? Like, do you plan it out? Like, I know Rogan will plan out, like on a Sunday, he'll write down everything. Do you just kind of go with it? Like, what do you?
Me, I have a set routine of playing basketball 3 days a week.
Which has got to be, that's incredible in cardio. So.
I ran for 3 hours yesterday.
3 hours, damn.
Well, I would say I was on the court running and playing hard for at least over 2 hours during that 3 hour stretch.
And see, stuff like that's great because you don't feel like you're exercising.
It's my favorite.
Fun.
It's my favorite.
Fun, you know what I mean?
I don't do treadmills.
Yeah.
I don't even get on exercise bikes anymore. But I do this really cool I think it's called the AMT, elliptical type machine at the YMCA. But because it works the range of motion that I want to work before I warm up certain shit. And then I'll do jump rope and I'll do other sorts of
jump rope. That's some good calorie burning shit right
there. Dude, that's
Yeah.
amazing for all sorts of things. But so I center around making sure I run 3 days a week with my buddies and my dudes that I hoop with, and I have hooped with for over 8 years now. It's an amazing culture we have at our court at the local YMCA here in Eugene. I'm not trying to blow it up. If you're a douchebag, don't come play with us.
Right.
But if you have game and you're a high level competitive dude and you got a good attitude, you're welcome. Nice. We play from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays religiously, man. Got a great set of dudes that we just want to run and burn calories, compete, and fucking have a great time. It's more fun than when I was a kid and I got to go out to recess and play soccer with my buddies.
That's what it reminds me of, is when you were a kid and you get out and play.
Because I don't have to go back into school, bro. I'm going home and I get to eat and I get to go play with my dogs. I get to do the things I love to do. I get to live my life, but it's centered around making sure. And then within that, because I was able to get my body back into a state where I could actually start to work out every day. Reason why I didn't was because I had torn my trapezius muscle in my back lifting weights 10 years ago.
That's such a fear of mine, is an injury.
And that's why I will continue to hound you to let me go over some stuff with you as you want to start lifting heavier, so you avoid the pitfalls that people fall into when they get into it, because you just want to go gun-ho and you think
I'm so
no
motivated.
pain, no gain.
And then you fucking tear something and then you can't lift.
Then you can't, and then you're in this pit of depression because the thing that was motivating you and keeping you pumped every day isn't there, or it causes you pain, which is even worse. So I tore my I was 230 pounds. I was 6'4", 6'5"-ish. I was so heavy I was actually shorter.
Wow.
I mean, 50 pounds.
Yeah, that would push down on you for sure.
I've got a big frame. So me and my brother Daniel over in Hawaii, the pharmacist, when he was still going through his med school and stuff up in Portland, he was starting to bulk up and lift weights. And so we were doing a competition thing because I'm much taller than him.
Right.
And he's always been much more handsome and debonair than I was. And so we were trying to find a level playing ground on, okay, who's going to lift weights and get bigger quicker. And it was fun because we were both throwing on the weight and keeping each other motivated. But I was being a dumbass. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't stretch right. I never had body maintenance, meaning I never went to somebody that knew where my body should be at a base level to fucking put my muscles and my ligaments and my tendons in places that they should be in their natural state. And I hit it hard, man. I was fucking working out 6 days a week for about 3 hours per day.
Wow.
Just doing heavy weight shit.
That's really intense.
I was playing a lot of racquetball too with my buddies. I have two really big athletic homies. One of them played middle linebacker for the Ducks, for the Oregon Ducks, and so we would play racquetball, but I wasn't able to play basketball because I was too bulky. I wasn't nimble at all. I was a chunk, dude. So and I didn't have a diet either. I just knew that I needed to eat a lot of carbs and protein. So I was shoveling rice and chicken into my grill every day as much as I could.
Right.
And I was overweight for sure.
That's probably exactly what I would have done too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just think this is what I'm supposed to.
I was trying to bulk up, man. I was trying to tell my bro,
you're competing.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna throw this on. I'm gonna outswole you.
Yeah.
So he ended up fucking his wrist up doing a front squat, which was the most bitch made thing. I still can't. I mean, I brought it up to a buddy yesterday. But I tore my trap like an idiot after I played racquetball for 2 hours. I went in and decided to kill the workout for the day. Wanted to maximize my time at the gym. So I went and hit my weight routine. And then I got in this freaking decline trap rack, I guess you would call it. And I overextended my trap and it tore bad. And it was like one of those instant pain, sharp stabbing shit, you know. And then
I just fucked up.
And for 2 weeks I couldn't even turn my neck left. But you know, I was one of those ignorant fools who had always told himself no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
So I continued to lift as soon as I could physically lift, and things didn't get better. The pain got worse. I got weaker and weaker and weaker. So I lifted for a year without going to massage, without going to see a doctor, without doing shit, because I was just like, I'll just push through it. Well, I had done a lot of damage all the way through my neck and all the way down to the middle of my back. So I finally went to a doctor. They told me I couldn't do any working out because I had to go see a physical therapist. They said specifically, you got to stop working out. And I was like, oh. I mean, how long are we talking?
Yeah, come on.
Because I need to be active. This is Eugene, Oregon. It's a little bit cloudy up in this bitch.
Yeah.
And this was New Year's. I saw them on fucking New Year's.
Really?
So it was the beginning of the year. And she's telling me I can't work out. And I'm thinking, it's the middle of goddamn winter. What the fuck what do you mean? She goes, you can't even do yoga. And I'm like, so I can't even barely stretch?
It's the worst possible time to find
What can I do? And she says, you can walk. You can go on walks around your neighborhood. So I did. And she said for 3 months at least.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go through this winter in
it's
a
horribly
shitty
gray.
mental, man, in a shitty mental place in my head. So I did it. I went on walks fucking every day, was depressed, was losing weight, got atrophied, just started shrinking, you know, to quote Mac from Always Sunny. I was as big as a skyscraper and then I shrunk down to the size of a postage stamp. But I started having less pain every day, which was the main thing. And then they showed me some fucking yoga stuff and some things to strengthen my core, my neck, my back, and to hit that. But they didn't, you know, it was kind of that cookie fucking cutter company treatment, man. Just, okay, you got this shit going on. All right, here they fucking charge you the same rate, come once a week. Now you're out of here in 8 weeks. And it didn't really heal me. So then I started getting more into yoga and I started doing this acupuncture stuff that my stepdad.
I think when I met you, you might have been doing some acupuncture.
I just had started because my stepdad had got hip to it.
Yeah.
His hip had been replaced 3 times. Well, yeah. 3 surgeries on his hip, and the dude had always been in pain.
Yeah.
Ever since I knew him, he couldn't sit down for more than 20 minutes at a fucking time. So when he told me one day that he had been seeing this acupuncturist and this Thai masseuse guy that worked together that had cured his hip pain. I was like, all right, I'll go check him out. I still had a little bit of insurance because I was young enough to still qualify to be on my mom's insurance.
Okay.
So I had, I think, about 8 months where I was able to utilize this awesome acupuncturist and Thai masseuse who started pulling a whole bunch of scar tissue and shit out of my shoulder and my back. I mean,
Started really seeing a difference.
I saw black shit
Really?
come out because the Thai masseuse guy used cups, like fucking glass cups,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I
that
remember
Chinese
that.
cupping
Yep,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah. Because I'd have gnarly big.
Yeah, I was like,
fucking,
what? I was like, be tattooing you. I'm like, what the fuck is
what's
that?
this big sucker,
You
dog?
fight with an octopus
Yeah,
before you got
that
here?
was what I would tell little kids because they'd be, what's that? I fucked this big octopus up, man. But he
Right,
got
right.
the best of me but no, it's cupping and it, you know, now you see Michael Phelps and all the.
yeah.
But before the Olympics and everybody, you know, I was that freak with big old fucking sucker marks on his shit. People are like, this guy likes his vacuum a lot.
Right.
Nah, I just like being relieved of pain.
Yeah.
So they actually pulled this scar tissue out and it came out in like black smoke and it coated the inside of this big fucking glass cup.
Wow.
It was disgusting. I couldn't believe that shit came out of me, but at the same time, I was so pumped
Right.
that it
That
came out of me.
came out, yeah.
Get that shit out, bro. So I continued to see them for a couple years and then kind of, I mean, I got back to a point of some level of health and everything, but it never really, my neck always kind of had that constant pain. And I thought, you know, I just probably going to need surgery some point, or I just, you know, fucking really got some gnarly scar tissue in there or something's fucked. And that's just how it is. But I'm not a surgery guy. I'm that natural guy. I've had my medical card, my cannabis card,
Right.
for that pain for 10 years. And that is one of the main things that helps me a ton. But, you know, there's only so much you can smoke and still be functional.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. I don't want to be too high. You know me.
Yeah. Ever since I've known you, I would never describe you as high, but I'm guessing you're probably.
Well, I'm about to light a joint right now because I want to maintain my level.
Right.
It's one of those
You
things.
can tell when your levels are.
Yeah,
are going
you know
up.
it because I do smoke by mood, as all my friends know. I'm one of those guys that has an extensive collection because each strain
Right.
of cannabis does something different.
So do you like a high CBD sometimes?
I like high CBDs all the time.
I think that is good. I've got some stuff going on with one of my dogs at home, and today we gave her CBD. You know what I mean? And I'm excited to see.
I was very excited to hear that you were going to try that with her.
Oh, I looked into it, and it's all positive across the board. It's fantastic. You know what I mean? You know, I had CBD from you back in the day for my anxiety, and it immediately, I couldn't believe how fast it helped. You know what I mean? And no one really knew. Like back then, not a lot of people knew about it. You know what I mean? When I told people about it, they were like, "What? What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? My sister's husband takes it every day for anxiety. You know what I mean? Absolutely fucking. This guy was suicidal. You know what I mean? And absolutely helped. You know?
It helps everybody that I know. Anybody who's open-minded enough and willing to just, you know, do something to help them fight anxiety and depression and the woes of life, the day in, day out stuff that we all feel.
Yeah.
That's why people eat the donut. That's why people fucking eat the handful of candy or that bag of chips or something.
Once you get that dopamine,
you get that release.
However you're getting it, you know, and a lot of people that know me know that I've been open about panic disorder, anxiety, you know, and that's one of the things that blew my mind is that I have not had anything like that since the health journey.
That's the coolest thing about this whole thing, which is why I know, besides just you and knowing you and your mentality, your style.
Yeah, because I was really open because I always thought, well, shit, if people know that I suffer from this and I still get shit done, because you got to be a professional and go to work. You got to fucking do it. You know what I mean? But honestly, like, I'm so focused on my health that I don't know if I haven't had time, but it just hasn't even entered my brain. Like, there was one night that Nikki would say I kind of had a panic attack, but I was having some heart palpitations, and because of my health, I thought maybe this is a heart attack or something. So it wasn't even a panic attack. It was legitimate thought, some shit, medical shit was, and I wasn't. I was just fucking, I don't know, you know, maybe I exercised too much or something, but I was fine. You know what I mean? But, you know, so I used to hear like, I listen to the Adam Carolla podcast a lot, and he talks a lot about, I understand depression, but if you just get up and start moving, get up and start walking, and I used to kind of roll my eyes like, oh, you just don't know what it's like. But he's absolutely right, man. Once I started moving and doing stuff besides, I would tattoo all day long sitting down, and I'd go home tired, so I would sit down. And I love to watch good TV shows, so I'm just sitting and sitting and sitting. I don't let myself do that much anymore. I take some time for myself, but I enjoy, I don't love running because my shins start to kind of hurt, but I'll walk at a really fast pace. It's almost like jogging.
Yeah.
And it's probably better for your joints anyway.
I fucking hate running.
Yeah.
I'm running, unless you're on like a nice path, like a bark mulch path or something that's padded. That's why they put that stuff down. It's because it's better for your joints. Yeah. Unless you're doing that, it's really hard on your shit. Yeah. And if you're overweight, it's really hard on your shit.
Starting out being really overweight, and then my dumb ass did it in Vans at first. You know what I mean? Like before I realized, okay, let's get some real fucking shoes. But,
well, it's not like you're like, it's going to be a montage.
Right, exactly.
Going to the store for shoes, montage.
I should have filmed the montage.
You
on them, actually.
You got what you have, man.
Yeah, I just was like, I'm going to try this out. But like, what I do now that gets me going, I like, now that it's nice outside, that's helped a ton. Because I went and bought a treadmill. I kind of fell in love with it just because I can do it anytime I want. I didn't have to go to the gym. But what I like to do, I get up, put on some fucking loud ass music that motivates me, hit the treadmill for like 20 to 30 minutes to like get going, right? And I'll do intervals. I'll sprint and then I'll slow down, keep my heartbeat going. Then I'll just immediately jump off the treadmill and go straight outside. And I'll just walk wherever the fuck I want. I've got a really beautiful neighborhood.
Fresh air.
Yeah, the fresh air, the fucking vitamin D, the sun, because this fucking Eugene is...
Right now. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So I will take advantage of that. And what's nice is that since I warmed up, I already got 3,000 steps in. So when I come back from my walk, I'm immediately at like 8,000 steps already, 2-3 miles already. And just mentally knowing that before I fucking ate breakfast, I did 3 miles. And I know some of you out there running 20 miles, and I ain't shit, but for me, this is something.
No, that's how you appreciate what those dudes who are doing 20 miles do, is because you're putting in the 3 miles going, you know what? I want to do that sometime.
2 months ago, it hurt to tie my shoe.
Fucking A, man. You bending that bowling ball in half.
Exactly. Like my gut was in the way.
Physics.
You know what I mean? Like I was telling a story the other day about how I went to the coast, and there was this like ledge, and I was going to take this beautiful photo. I went to jump on this wall that was fucking 2 feet high, and just because I thought I was like a normal person, just jumped up on the wall and ate shit.
Yeah.
Fucking ripped my shin up and stuff because my fat ass couldn't jump a 2 fucking foot wall.
Yeah, I laughed pretty hard at that.
So now I have a 2-foot porch on my house, so every day when I come home, you better fucking believe that last step, I'm fucking jumping on that porch. Fuck the stairs. I jump up because I'm like, I can fucking do it.
Yeah, Joshua's got springs now.
Yeah, man, it's like it ain't shit, but like I thought, you just think you can do shit when you were younger. I never even considered a 2-foot wall would be, and I just ate shit.
That's why you ate shit, bro.
Yeah,
it wasn't shit until you
funny.
realized it was.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but it hurt. You know what I mean?
Dog. It was worth it for us, for the rest of the world.
Now it's a thing I'll never forget. So now, like, I'm always like, ooh, I think I could jump that 3-foot wall. You know what I mean? So like, it's just been cool to like little things like that. You know what I mean? Like little things have been cool like that.
And they just get better. I mean, that's why I'm going to love doing the podcast with you, is because we'll be able to document this verbally, because how many great conversations have we had?
Right, exactly.
That mimic kind of this one,
and that's kind of what started it. We'd be talking and we were like, we should record this shit. I wish we were, you know what I mean? So like, I think originally I knew I was wanting to do podcasts for a while. And I think when I brought it up, you were just immediately like, dude, I'm fucking down.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be that dude who's like, please fucking let's do that, because I don't want to be a needy dude. But
yeah, but no, it hit me. I was like, we got shit to talk about.
We always have shit to talk about.
Speaking of stuff to talk about, what are your thoughts on like smoothies, like drinks, like do you like to?
I love me some smoothie, man. I'm the smoothie.
You made one of the best smoothies I ever had the other day.
Well,
Sean sent me home with a smoothie, and that shit was good.
Dude.
Nikki, we split it.
The pride I felt in you taking that smoothie and actually telling me you were going to drink it. Yeah. I didn't know. I was like, it's 50-50.
What's weird is it was like, I don't know how you got it that cold. Like even at my house, it was like Nikki was like, God damn, this is cold.
I got my technique down and everything.
Don't be tickling or nothing.
Nothing.
But yeah, like we split it, and it was fucking good.
Well, that's my go-to shit, and that's why my lifestyle is doable. Right. It's because I got a smoothie out there right now, right. And we can split that when if you're it's in your time period to eat when we leave here, or if your fucking shit's on point or whatever. I'm gonna have some because I already ate,
and that's why it's not crazy because when you're eating, it's fucking delicious, and that's the thing is you got to find shit that you love that's healthy. And it's out there. Well, berries are fucking fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, but they're hard to get fresh. So I use frozen ones. Mm-hmm. And when I can do fresh ones, I'll do them. But, it's really sketchy. Berries are one of those things that if you're not getting local, you're probably doing harm in consuming that shit.
I think that's an aspect where being in Eugene we're pretty lucky.
Lucky as fuck.
Yeah, like, Eugene, Oregon, for those that don't know, is very big on local, organic. You know what I mean? Like one of the things that everybody brags about is locally owned. Or I used to make fun of that. I'd be like, "Oh, is it organic?" It's like now I get that shit.
It's funny because Voodoo's right on the other side of the wall, but 2 buildings over, well, less than a block over, is the farmers market, the biggest Eugene farmers market.
We share a building with them.
With the best local raised shit. Yeah. And the fucking down across the hall is the headquarters for that shit.
Like it's like a famous Saturday market. Like it's fucking
it is.
Legit,
it's one of those ones that it's worth going to.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be like, forecast for Eugene was cloudy with a chance of a drum circle. Because when I moved here and saw that shit all, and I'll be honest with you, I was like, God, what is all this hippie shit? But then I was like, some of these hippies are onto something. Some of them are. Not all of them.
The ones that don't look like hippies are the ones that really got it going on.
Yeah, some of these people, they know a little more than I do. You know what I mean? And it's I'm always telling Nikki, I'll say something, and I'm like, not to get too hippie on you, but the pharmaceutical companies are fucking up.
No hippie, okay? No hippie, all right. But like sugar might actually be really bad for the population in general.
Can you believe this shit? I fucking probably should stop eating this cake.
Hey, have you ever heard of Doc Bronner soap? No hippie, but Doc Bronner soap is like good in so many ways.
That's
and
all
you just
I tattoo
need a little
with.
bit. It's but no. Oh yeah, I feel you, bro.
But I will say that Dr. Bronner says you can brush your teeth with it. Don't do that.
And some of those like the peppermint one, it can be a little sensitive on the sack.
Yeah.
Some of those will sizzle.
I tattoo with the lavender one, and one time a client, I'll have some clients that I kind of hook up, and I'll be like, I'll hook you up, but you need to bring me like a case of paper towels. Dr. Bronner's, she brought peppermint soap. And I tattooed with it. Nah, that shit burns real bad.
Bro. It burns.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on? Like, fucking, I don't know what's different. It was the soap.
Yeah, dude. But that's one of those nice hippie knowledges. You got that hippie wisdom. Yeah. You're going to know that. And now you're already an honorary hippie, brother. You've been here for 6 years, man.
If I show up with dreadlocks, just fucking shoot me.
Well, you do rock the beard, and you rock it so well. So you blend in like a motherfucker.
The funny thing is when I grew this beard, my wife was like really unsure, and then like now there's no way I could shave it. She would freak out. Well, my kids have never seen me without it.
I've never seen you without it.
If I shaved my beard, you'd be like, damn, Josh looks like a cancer patient.
You'd be looking like me, brother. I look like that motherfucker, okay?
Right.
I'm that dude in my family because my brother is the same way. Amy will not let Ty be beardless. His fucking Instagram is 2 beards, and it's him and his dog.
I joke around about like, well, shit, man, I'm because right now I'm thinner than Nikki's ever known me. I'm actually lower weight than she's ever known me. Oh yeah. So I'm like, I was a good looking guy in high school, so I'm like, maybe I'll shave it off. You know what I mean? When my face thins out.
You got pretty eyes, too.
But she's like, don't you fucking dare, And even my son Elliot was literally like, please don't shave your beard. And like, so honestly, like I don't think it'll ever happen.
I'm so jealous of it because
you
first off,
try to grow a beard?
Yeah, dude,
this doesn't happen.
Do you know? Okay, so you've been apprised of my whole beard fiasco of like, because I had to go get those anti-inflammatory shots in my around 2 spots in my neck because I had 2 tiny bald spots that weren't even noticeable like fucking 2 years ago maybe on my neck. Compared to my brother who is in a beard calendar, I have no follicle game, but I've got a decent jawline and I can grow a goatee and I can grow a mustache and I've got some sideburn action.
See, that's that weird that's that genetic thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I said, some people are born like you never see them work out, but they got a 6-pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so like this is as far as my beard will grow. Like it just done. But like Sean King, shit's
Sean's-
twice as long.
Dude, he's a wizard.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I don't know. Like I've never had long hair, but I kind of, you know, now my hair is too thin to do it. But I used to be like, oh, I wish I was on college years. I grew long hair. Some people's hair just stops.
Yeah,
Isn't
dude.
that weird? It's
That's
like
me.
And so like to see, yeah, like people be like, I can't grow a beard. You know what I mean? It's like, God, it's so easy for me. You
I
know
can't
what
wait
mean?
till we get some cameras up in this place because
Right.
it would make so much more sense visually
Right.
to show the dynamic of my baby fucking face
Right.
and my bald dome to your savage beard.
I've just been doing the hat because it's like, I know my hair is thin, but like I play in a band and somebody was, you know, videotaped me from like above and I was like, oh, it's like that? It's that bad? So
Oh shit, I didn't know,
yeah,
bro.
so I was like, I knew it's thin, but like it's getting close. Like I'll probably be shaving it. Just,
Well, you
know
said
what I mean?
that probably a year ago when
Yeah.
I started buzzing my head
Yeah.
because you were like, "Oh shit, you went
Yeah.
the
My
fucking."
I was bald in my wedding. My wedding pictures.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you got a decent dome.
Yeah.
Because if you
Well,
didn't,
here's what's funny is that I was at a tattoo convention the night before we were getting married, and I called my fiance at the time, and I'm like, I did something stupid. And of course she's like, "What? You're out of state. What the fuck did you do?" And I'm like, "I shaved my head, like shave, like you know." And she had never seen my head either. You know what I mean? She was fucking worried about it. So when I showed up, she immediately like looked over it real quick, and she's like, "Okay, you look good." You know? I don't know why the fuck it was literally like a guy in the hotel was like, I got these clippers. Who wants their head shaved? And I have no idea why. And
you were trying to get out of that fucking marriage, bro.
Yeah,
You
right,
were
right,
trying.
right,
You
yeah.
were like,
Third
"Man,
time's a charm,
Maybe
right?"
if I shave my head now,
Right.
is she gonna be like, "Yeah, we can't do
It
this."
was literally the day before we got
Yeah,
married.
dog, that's
So it's
a
crazy.
statement.
I'll bring pictures in, but yeah, it's pretty funny to see.
Dude, I'm interested because I've never known you to not have a beard and not have hair. Because
Right.
you like
I think I
comb
just had
your hair.
I think I just had a goatee even then too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
then.
In the wedding.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. Because
yeah,
I want to see that shit.
Yeah.
Because so Nikki will freak if you even take any length off of it or what?
I've trimmed it up, and
Okay.
she's like, I like it better long. You know what I mean?
because I think nothing looks better than like a really well
Like a
manicured
good
beard.
groomed
You know
beard,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Not
absolutely,
that
yeah.
fucking Eugene hippie
Yeah.
shit.
No, I try to keep my shit on point, like fucking beard oil and stuff. But like, I didn't used to. I just whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, like a good beard oil combed beard definitely makes a difference.
Man, I'm
the fucking
jealous.
girls love it.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
They do, man.
Dude, I know. I'm tall and they like
Right,
that.
right.
But that's why I'm like, man, I want to have that Khal Drogo look, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be bearded the fuck up, have a mane.
It's funny how there's things like a beard or being tall. Like when I was in high school, I learned early on being funny.
Oh yeah.
Being funny. You know what I mean? Like girls fucking loved that. You know what I mean?
Everybody likes to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that is shitty about school is you just want to have fun and hang with your friends.
Right.
And then you got to go and learn the same bullshit that they're just pushing out that year in curriculum, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's so easy to just like my daughter, she's 14 and she'll be like, I get it, but I'm not going to be in this career. Therefore, I don't really need to know. And so what I always tell her is even though you don't need to learn calculus, you're learning how to learn.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you're learning how to do something that life has given you. And that seems to help her because she's an incredibly gifted artist. She's actually won awards for it. And she's going to be an artist.
I think she already knows how to learn.
Yeah,
Because she
yeah.
already knows so much.
Yeah, she just, she gets in school and like it's this, the way they teach math now is different than when they taught math to you and I, you know what I mean?
Well, let's hope so.
Right. But it's a lot. She'll come home with hours of homework, stuff like that. So she's won an award which gave her the ability to go to some of these schools that are more art-based. You know what I mean? You have to kind of like get into them.
You got to get some recognition.
Yeah. So because of some of her work, she's welcome. So we're really looking into, she's just about to go into high school. We got her in the school she wants. We're going to see how that goes. And if it's not great, we're going to move her into one of those art schools.
Sweet, man. Because you don't want to see somebody lose their passion, lose their spark.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's so fucking smart.
Right.
And so has such a high potential.
Right.
To do amazing things in life that you want to just support that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll talking to my wife, and I'm like, where does she get all this energy? And she'll look at me like, are you kidding me?
Are
That's
you
your
fucking
daughter.
kidding me? Yeah. Both of your daughters.
And I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get it. You know what I mean? It's
now
like,
you get it.
Yeah.
You're healthy now, bro.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're like, that's what you're finally able to see this bigger picture of
Right.
life because your brain's functioning on this
Right.
other level. That's why I want you to start taking the CBD shit on the daily basis.
And I do take it, like, not as regular as I should, but it definitely helps.
It helps.
Yeah, MCT oil too, man. Like,
Oh,
that's
man.
talking about good fats.
Good
you know what I mean?
fats.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nikki drinks in her coffee every morning.
bro,
I mean-
I want some tea. I want some of my avocado oil
Yeah.
and CBD shit right now.
Right. Yeah. Nikki's definitely been on that as well. Like, understanding the power of good fat. We've been told this the wrong way for so long. And, it sucks because she knows she's right. And she's on these forums where everybody shares this knowledge with her. But then somebody will be like, what? What do you know what I mean? And it's a little difficult because you have to choose, do I educate this person? Or I can be kind of apathetic and just be like, I don't really want to even deal with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll just kind of blow you off, you know what I mean? But, there's nothing like knowledge. And when you understand why your body's working better than it's ever worked, you kind of want to share it with everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not just fasting for me. Like, that's one of my things, it's a new thing. But
You're like, dude, this could like help your life.
yeah, I'm like, don't you want to feel amazing?
I mean, don't you want to live?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be there for your kids.
What's that living shit?
Well, I mean, okay, really good guy to talk about in this discussion would be probably our friend Sean King, because
Right.
he's one of those guys that I thought would immediately be affected and motivated by you in some way because of this health scare that
Right.
you had, because his diet was so similar to yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean and I are a lot alike in a lot of ways. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean-
I think that's why we're such good friends. For Sean, he organically just kind of started walking more. You know what I mean? Just started walking more, and to save money, stopped eating Taco Bell at 3 a.m. So I don't think he ever said, I mean, he may have, because I remember when he stopped drinking soda, but then he like traded it for lemonade. So it's still sugar.
Well,
you
and
know what I mean?
those Starbucks
Coffee's his thing, man.
dude,
That's
that
the
shit
fucking-
was like,
And that's what he got me. I started drinking the same coffee drink he drank without the coffee. So I was drinking a milkshake
what the fuck?
every day. And yeah. So that was one of the things that, and I was like, it's probably 600, it's like 1,000 calories or more. It's fucking
Of
crazy.
pure shit.
It's literally a milkshake. It's
Yeah.
delicious, but that's fucking.
want one.
Yeah, I know, right? we're real close to Starbucks too. But Sean, he just started walking everywhere and not buying, not buying shit. So like not buying like fast food and stuff. So he just lost weight as well. I don't know if you've seen him in a while, but he's not.
I
really,
haven't.
He's not really overweight.
I
It's
haven't
weird.
seen. Well, that's the thing, was he was slimming down.
Yeah.
and that was cool. I was loving the fact that he was starting to make some like dietary changes, or at least being conscious of that and stuff. But those Starbucks things were always in his fucking head, man.
Always, yeah.
And that's just calories. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like seeing somebody with a beer in their hand.
And he drinks his regular coffee black. So I was like, man, you could fast 16 hours and you can drink black
and
coffee.
still just stay on the coffee, bro.
And he's like, he goes, well, I think I kind of accidentally do that. But if you think about it, not really, because I've sat there with him when he's had Taco Bell at 2 a.m. So he might do it sometimes accidentally, but you got to kind of be on it. You know?
Oh, yeah.
But he was at the house yesterday, and he's never been fat, but he was like me at a gut. Mm-hmm. Not as bad as me, actually, but it's gone. It's gone, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And he had sleep apnea. And he's like, I don't have sleep apnea anymore. And I'm like, here's the thing. This is what excites me more than anything. I thought I was just curing diabetes. I didn't know I'm fixing everything, man. Like I'm really, really helping stop future possible cancers. I'm stopping things before they start. Nikki's grandmother has Alzheimer's disease. And it turns out, and it's not like, everything, but that's insulin as well. That's there's deposits in the brain that could have been avoided.
Yeah, it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy, unnatural, bodily function and cognitive function, which is caused by what you put in.
My father had 2 strokes, and I was well on my way. And by me doing this younger, I'm hopefully going to prevent that. You never know, because there's genetics that I could drop dead right now. You just don't know. But just like taking care of your car, like taking care of your body. Like, I don't know why it didn't hit me until recently, but I don't want to say I didn't care, but I just didn't think about it.
You know why? It's because you were focused on other things.
Yeah, I was focused on my success. I was still very driven to be the best tattoo artist I could be. Like, I didn't give a fuck about the money. I wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the guy. I used to always have this thing. I wanted to be at a tattoo convention. This was years ago. And I wanted to be like, if you heard these two guys talking about these tattoos, right? They were like, oh, did you see what that guy Joe did? And people were like, I know, it was amazing. Did you see what Chris did? Holy shit. And then somebody go, but did you see what Joshua Carlton did? And I want them to go, yeah, but that doesn't count because that's on another level.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? That's what I wanted to hear.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I always tell people when I teach these seminars on tattooing, it's not so much about being the best artist, but being the best person. I always say treat what you do like you're a fucking serial killer. You think those motherfuckers are fucking around?
They ain't taking time.
You know what
off.
I mean? They're not taking time.
I watched
off.
Red Dragon last night, brother.
Yeah, no fucking days off. You know what I mean? Now, if you want it, like you got to want it. I don't want to hear excuses. You got to want it. Whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck it is. Dieting, success, money, girls, any of it. You got to fucking want it.
You do. You gotta be motivated.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hopefully you're not a serial killer. You know.
And if you fail, tomorrow's fucking another day, man.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
You know, you're on this diet thing. Let's say this inspires you to get on your health journey, right? And you fucking are doing great, and then you slip up and you fucking have that donut. That's cool. That's cool, man. Tomorrow, don't.
Yeah, or even, don't have to finish that donut.
Yeah.
If you finish it, no shame. But if you get halfway through it and you go, hey, this wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Because it's not going to be. You know what I mean?
Then you can trash it.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat the whole fucking donut. You can just go, hey, it was cool that I paid the fucking $1 or $2 for that half a donut.
And that's another thing is like Nikki used to always say, part of her eating problem is that we've been well off and we've been poor. And she would say, I bought this meal and I just can't not eat it all. And I would say, look at it the other way. You paid for this meal. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
You own that meal.
Yeah. You know what she used to do that was hilarious? Was as soon as she was satisfied with her food, she would spray it with Listerine.
I love it.
Yeah. So she would now it's fucking
no touchy.
ruined.
No touchy. Yeah, dude. That shit is tainted.
Those mashed potatoes are fucking ruined.
They are.
Yeah. And it kind of sounds crazy, but that's kind of brilliant.
That's
you know what I mean?
Fucking dedication.
Yeah.
That's
She'd be like,
discipline.
I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. No, Nikki, another brilliant move.
Yeah. I thought I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah. There's those things that you do that just, give you the strength that you need to make that fucking, to accomplish your task to get you closer to your goal.
Yeah.
And it's not a fucking thing that you do. Okay. I'm going to do this month. It's today. It's today. And then tomorrow.
And it doesn't happen overnight. And like,
for you, it did.
To me, I did extra fast again, and only because, according to doctors, that's the best way.
Oh, you could have died, dude.
Right.
You were fucking losing your vision, man.
Yeah, like, I haven't even mentioned that. My vision was the same. I had to wear glasses. I didn't wear them because it was for distance, and I could see good up close. But I thought my vision was getting worse because I was holding my phone at a different distance, and I went to have a diabetic eye exam, and they're like, no, your eyes are getting better because you don't have the pressure on them. That blew my mind. That's when I kind of realized I'm really curing myself. The journey is the path. You know what I mean? So like, you don't get a black belt overnight. You know what I mean? You don't get the instant gratification. This is the long haul.
And you put yourself in this position by eating what you ate and ignoring your health. You went, okay, I got a bigger hole to climb out from, but I'm going to hit the ground running and stay motivated. So that way I'll be somewhere before I know it. And you already are. It blew my fucking mind because I saw you at Evergreen.
Right.
And we hung out. I mean, fuck, there's plenty of pictures. There's so many, there's documentation
Tons
of
of it.
us kicking it, doing our thing. You, me, Sean.
And we'll eventually have video of all this on YouTube so you can see us.
And then, and you can feel like you're in the studio here in Eugene with us. Don't worry. The tie-dye will be at a minimum.
Right.
That's across the hall. So, but yeah, we have a fucking stand. Okay, that's where you started from.
Right.
I mean, worked like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And now you're already a fucking completely different person.
I feel like a complete.
You are a completely different person.
It's almost 30 pounds, and it's not even the look as much as I feel.
The fact that we're doing this podcast, you haven't said, bro, I got to stop. I got this going on. I'm feeling pretty fatigued and stuff.
No.
It's a continuous positive thing.
It's kind of mind blowing. That I have so much energy that I don't know what to do sometimes. You know what I mean? Because my body's not constantly trying to fucking flush this shit out. You know what I mean? But it's amazing, and you don't have to do it as fast as me for sure. You know what I mean? That's just that's something for me personally that's working for me.
Well,
You know
it
what I
just
mean?
goes to show people that if you do get serious about something and you really do make it a lifestyle thing,
Yeah.
you're going to get the results.
Yeah, and that's the secret. If anybody wants to know, don't diet. You just, I know I said it earlier, but it's a life change. Even intermittent fasting, it's not a diet, it's just a way of eating.
It is, and you can
It's a schedule
do that
for
without
eating.
even changing your actual
Yeah, don't be afraid of it. It's really
diet.
pretty easy.
But if you do decide to eat better
Yeah.
while you're doing that, you're going to get that much more of
Yeah,
a positive result.
and that's one of the issues not issues I have with it, but if you're healthy, you could technically, in your eating window, get all your caloric intake in and eat kind of anything you want and still you wouldn't gain. You know what I mean? There's a guy who, he's on YouTube, and I think it's called the snake diet. And just to prove, and it's just basically he eats 1 hour a day and all of his calories, though, like 3,000-4,000 calories.
Jesus.
And then he fasts. To prove that he could stay healthy, he just finished a documentary where he ate McDonald's for 30 days. And that's all he ate. And at the
guy's a
end,
freak, though.
oh my God. At the end of it, he had the body of a fucking Olympic runner. Now, he's gifted with that already. He was already started out.
Yeah, he sounds like an asshole.
It'd kill me. You know what I
You
mean?
know?
I'm not going to do that, but he was more just trying to show that's how powerful fasting is.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, there was this one thing I saw, one of the most mind-blowing body transformations I ever saw in my life was this swimmer. This guy trained himself to swim across the English Channel. So he was going from France to England.
Jesus.
And to do this in one, go, what he did was he built up his fat reserves. He had over 20 pounds of fat he put onto his body. And then at the same time, he was working out so consistently every day, and so vigorously that his heart had built up to I think it was 3 times the strength of a normal athlete's heart.
Wow. Like he was
In a healthy
preparing
way.
for
Yeah,
this
it wasn't like some, obese person's.
Right.
He had built the strength up in his heart and his lungs, but mostly his heart to just pump blood and
Yeah.
continuing pumping blood when he would be fatigued. So what he did was he got to this point when he started swimming across where his body just hit this wall and it goes, oh, fuck, we burned up what was in your stomach and in your
Right.
intestines. So then it went immediately into
Fat adaptive.
overdrive
Yeah.
and started working on that 20 pounds. I think it was closer to 30 pounds of fat. And by the time he got to the other side, that fat was gone.
That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy,
That's
dude.
insane.
That's pure fuel.
Yeah.
But to be able to put that on your body and still be working out hard enough and that you're
swimming
in
is
good enough
insane.
shape
Yeah.
to fucking do something like that. You're actually a ultra super athlete,
Absolutely.
but you look like you're fat.
Yeah.
And that was what was funny because when he got in the water, he looked like a chunky dude, and when he
Right.
gets out,
Got
he's
out, yeah,
cut.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
fucking crazy.
Epic.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's the thing is so a little bit of the older generation, like if I tell my mom I'm fasting or something, they freak out. But I got food chilling right here. I'm good, man.
Yeah,
I'm
you
got
a couple of meals.
Yeah, so it's like I don't have to worry about that. Like there will be a point that I won't have that.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
that's like
That's
kind of
where you're at.
my point.
That's where you're at, exactly. So like, I'm good. I'm good for that. So like when I'm fasting, at first I was a little nervous. Am I lightheaded? Is my left arm going nuts? It's like, no, I feel fucking great. You know what I mean? Because my body's like, oh, cool, we're doing this. I'm chilling with this fat. Like a good way to look at it is you got a refrigerator that you can put food in, right? It's got a limited amount. You can put food in there. But eventually, if you get too much food, you got to go down the basement and fucking freezer.
True that.
Right? Freezer can store all kinds of shit, and you can put more freezers in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
That's your fat storage. Your sugar, your immediate source is your refrigerator that gets burnt up, and that's what your body wants. We need to get down in the
Perishables.
basement.
Let's put the
Yeah.
perishables
Yeah.
in there. The stuff that's
Yeah.
readily
You want to get it to where
burnable.
you are burning fat. You know what I mean? Once you become fat adaptive, that shit's fucking falling off.
that good fat.
That good fat. Because people will be like, man, I lost a bunch of weight. And you lost some water weight.
Yeah.
You took a shit.
You know
what I mean?
I'm about to take a 3-pound piss.
Exactly. So getting fat adaptive, not an easy thing. Fasting will get you into ketosis faster than going on the keto diet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keto is great, but nothing is going to get you fasting, get you into ketosis really fast.
When you're setting up a calorie deficiency, that's the best way to burn off those calories.
Yeah.
It's wow.
And stress is a big thing. Like when you're highly stressed, your body will sense the stress, so it signals that it's in distress and will produce more insulin. So it actually will make fat out of nothing to protect you. So keep the stress levels down. Smoke a little bit of weed.
Thanks, body.
Chill out. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, and there's we'll definitely get into in a later podcast. I want people to be able to reach out if they have any questions about cannabis and the types of cannabis and how they affect the body in different performance issues or relaxation or recreation.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of that research.
Yeah, the nice thing now is that there's so much studying out there, and you're so knowledgeable on it, so we can be able to get some no bullshit.
That is my expertise.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
I look forward to sharing that, and people. That is my passion. So when somebody says, "How do I get off pharmaceuticals and transition into cannabis?" I don't want to be high, and I don't want to be paranoid, and I don't want to be anxious, and I don't want to be high, quote unquote, which is the number one thing that I hear from people, and understandable.
How can I get the benefits
without being paranoid and not feeling like this isn't what I want to be doing, which is the most relatable experience for most people with cannabis, especially if you don't live in a cannabis friendly area because of the stigma that goes with it. We're blessed to be out here on the West Coast where cannabis is a friendly thing, and we're more open-minded, and we know that it's
shit that people would go to prison for now is just like an everyday, like,
it's medicine. It's medicine. And we're able to go to the store and go get medicine and all sorts of varieties and flavors, and some that are way too potent for even the most experienced users. So that's why I like when I get to enlighten people about how to most, enjoy and utilize cannabis in the proper way for them, because it's different for everybody. I smoke a lot more than your average smoker, but I smoke by mood, and I know what I'm smoking, and I know its effects, and I know what I'm going to get out of it.
I got it dialed in by.
I got it too dialed in.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, is that it is so adaptable and so personalized and individualized for people when they, hey man, this is my style and this is what my goals are and stuff. So there's things for you. Instead of Vicodins, instead of Xanax, instead
alcohol.
of Valiums, instead of Celexa, instead of alcohol. Jesus, the number one most readily available thing that everybody can go get.
Yeah, my mom was prescribed way back in the day Prozac when her father died, and she says that it's so severe that she doesn't even see in color when she doesn't take it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
that's rewiring the brain.
Yeah. And now we've got her, she's got fibromyalgia, and, marijuana, edibles helps her tremendously.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? So I would say you guys have an absolute wealth of knowledge here with Sean, and, message us with some questions. Send them to carltontattoos@gmail.com, and I'll forward them straight to him. And let's answer some questions on the next podcast, because you guys are lucky to have someone that knows this much about marijuana.
Please, anything across the spectrum, any type of cannabis questions, or even other drug stuff, because like I said, I've
studied this forever.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of substance abuse research and work. So, like I said, I've been sober for a long time, and I just like to be a healthy, happy person who enjoys life.
Yeah, because I can see somebody being out there that's interested and they've had a bad experience, and you can guide them into what's going to work for them. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's had a bad experience. I mean, shit, I can't tell you how many times I've smoked the wrong joint or...
Well, just like, some people will start out and get a shitty tattoo, and it shies them away from these amazing tattoos that they can get. Some of you got fucked up on some pot that was weird, that you didn't know what the fuck it was. You didn't have education. I can see that. I can see someone being like, fuck it. But there's so many benefits.
It can be a really good tool for your life.
Yeah. There's so many benefits. Some of the best artists I've ever known in my life were like, man, I would never paint without smoking first.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of the best tattoos I've gotten have been people because they had to smoke first. And I'm like, do whatever you got to do.
do what
Yeah,
exactly.
let's take a break so you can smoke more.
Yeah, exactly. Do you need to take your break now?
Yeah.
Totally cool with that. And that's one of the wonderful things about cannabis is you don't feel like the guy's taking a shot of whiskey,
Right.
or doing a line of Coke.
Right.
It's like, oh,
it's just all about being educated. Like anything, just educate yourself. And this is a great starting point. So send Sean some questions.
please. Sweet. Well, that feels like
Yeah, I think this is probably a good spot.
nice.
We'll wrap it up. And I know we got a bunch of stuff for next time. So we'll probably put one of these out in a couple days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a great experience this first episode, and I look forward to doing this again because I just love hanging with you, Josh.
Awesome, man.
So I hope we get at it sooner rather than later.
I appreciate it, man. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you next time.